Hey, y'all. Y'all. I'm trying to do all the things without doing a real intro. I didn't even put my headset on, so that's okay. We'll see how that works. I'm not used to doing it. Can y'all hear me? Let's see. Let me look over here. Can y'all hear me? Okay. All right. Y'all can hear me. All right. I don't even know why I came on without them. But what I've done is I have, I don't even know how come on I've done this, but I have restreamed and edited the video that Kresha did. This is a terrible way to go start, I know. Things around me are asking me questions. Excuse me. Kresha put up the video on October 24th, and it was struck down during the night. So the words that Kresha and Awen and Kay used were struck down, and nobody got to hear them. And so today I wanted to play Awen's part of that video and give it air. I did edit it and not the audio. I just I covered up anything that I thought might get us a copyright strike. I didn't want anybody's picture to be in there. Please, as you're watching this video, do not try to contact or harass anybody that you see in the video. Just let's listen for information of it, and remember, this is just a restream, and we've learned a lot since this was streamed on October 24th. So you may say, well, that's not true. We know better now. Well, we do know better, but some of the information is very important, and so I wanted to put this video out there. So let me get it up here. Let's see. Did I close it? Crazy girl. Okay. Well, hang on a minute. As the saying goes, hold please. All right. Y'all hang with me a minute. Okay, everybody, I'm still here. I'm just trying to figure this technology thing out. Okay, let's see if I can get this present. Stop screen. Okay. I had the craziest thing that I brought up. Y'all just have to deal with me. Share screen. Here we go.
Oh, well, hey, let's see. I'll remove you, Mom.
Oh man,
Remove yourself. Where is my picture? I put it. Oh well.
Lauren took it. No, I'm picking. She didn't. Lauren, fine. I'm gonna
We're
snark.
going right
Okay.
there, huh?
You know, we
Okay.
went right off the bat. Lauren, crime. I wish I had Dance for Justice's sound bites, man.
Oh my goodness. It was so good to hear your mom, to hear Kay talk. She sounds focused and strong and oh, she sounds so good. I haven't talked to her for 5 years last time we talked on the phone. So I was just so pleased to hear her,
It
you
was
know.
good.
Yeah, that
It's
was great.
healing, even though I mean I know it's like the nastiest stuff, but it's like getting it off of you, off of
Mhm.
yourself, and you're just like, I'm releasing this and it's not gonna hold me back anymore.
Yep.
And I usually zonk out after these.
Yeah, a lot
But
of people in chat are asking who I am
I know
because
I'm looking for
remember
the
this
tag.
is 5 years ago. There are people
I
who've never heard
know.
of me. How can that
I'm
be?
gonna
Uh,
I'm gonna pull it up. Imma
yeah,
pull up your channel, and that way I can show them. But this is
excellent.
Awen Rees, and she's an OG from a long time ago. A lot of people, um, it's kind of a controversy. I'll say it's controversial, I guess, but, I mean, this is kinda where you're coming to say your piece, and, I
Yep.
mean, not to say that not to limit culpability or you know what I mean? Like, you're doing
Mhm.
it and just to, like, share your grievances, and sometimes it involves others.
Yep. Yep.
So, have at it.
All right. Well, I
Welcome.
started back in 2019. My best friend in the whole world, Denise Rainey, she has a YouTube channel. It's still up. She was the first person to break the Vallow story. She got
Mhm.
news of the news report of 2 missing kids from Rexburg, Idaho. And she was talking to me about it. We saw the police report, like, oh, gee, I wonder what that's about. Then we saw the video of Kay and Larry when they were saying, hey, these kids are missing. And so Denise starts covering it very, like she was on top of this case because she wanted to find these kids. And so she reached out to Justin Lum. She has started doing all of the videos and collecting all the data. And she came to me and said, there's some kind of weird Mormon cult thing going on here. And I'm like, I don't want to touch that. Nope, that's
Mhm.
your case. Good luck. Um,
You're
but
good at it.
she convinced me to go on with her, and so I started covering it with her. And the more we started digging, there was some terrifying things we were finding. Preparing a People, all of those podcasts, uh,
Mhm.
Melanie Gibb with her Feel the Fire. I mean, there was some scary stuff out there. Um, but we were doing it. We were doing it because we had seen Kay and Larry, absolutely fell in love with them because they are the most lovable people on the planet. And their pain was palpable. And if we could have waved a magic wand and taken their pain away, we would have. But all we could do was help them with the case. Right.
Yeah.
So back then we had talked to Annie Cushing and done a whole big promo to try to find anyone who was at Yellowstone that weekend, that infamous weekend, might have pictures. Please send the pictures and videos so we can see if we could see the family out there at Yellowstone that day. So we had worked with Annie on that and worked with Justin on that, and we're doing everything we could. And Denise died. She died of
Yeah.
COVID.
That was
Uh,
bad.
I lost my mind, but I said, I can't let all of her work go to waste. I cannot let it go to waste. She was so invested in this case. And I said, all right, I didn't want a true crime YouTube channel. No, I was doing narcissism stuff and, that kind of thing. But I said, I
Mhm.
can't let this case just fall by the wayside because we're both so invested and Denise would not have wanted it dropped. So I picked it up. I said, all right, I'm going to start covering this case. And I just go. I've never done this before. I'd never done a YouTube channel. I don't know how to cover crime. I'm just going to do it. Denise did, and it was going really
Mhm.
well. And then I met a lawyer, a woman, who was having a lot of flack in a Facebook group, and I rushed to her defense because that's me. I'm going to rush
Mm.
up for the underdog. I
I
can't
call it Captain
resist.
Save-A-Ho. It's the Captain Save-A-Ho syndrome is what I call
Right.
it.
Exactly. And I could not resist. So I swoop in to help her and we start talking. And she's a lawyer and she's going to help me with some legal questions because I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how to talk about this stuff. And she was wonderful. She answered all my questions. And then she started coming on my live streams to answer legal questions for people. And it was working really well. That's her right there. on the
Identified.
screen, and we started off having what I thought was a very good relationship. She was very open, and we talked a lot, and it was great. Until some things happened. She met a
No.
woman named Lauren Matthias.
No, I'm not gonna show her picture again.
Yeah.
Y'all know.
Once she met Lauren Matthias, all the bad things started happening in my entire planet. There were a lot. Go ahead,
I
sorry.
think a lot of us experienced that too. Residual, like, you know,
Yep.
you didn't even have to be like front on. It was like you could feel it.
Yep. And one of the hardest things, when all of it went down, all the lies, I mean, there was lies, bullying, you name it, it all happened. And I chose to walk away. I said I could stay and fight because they're making up bullshit and lies, and I can find receipts and show them it's not true. But the Flying Monkey Brigade, Kresha, was unbelievable.
They're
I
relentless.
could not. Relentless is an understatement. The death threats, the doxing, we're gonna come kill you. I'm like, what did I do? Why are you mad at me? You know, because these two women were out all over Reddit and Facebook and stuff saying all of this horrible crap about me that was absolutely not true. And I said I could fight back, but all of the shit that they were throwing at me started to splash onto people I cared about, like you and your parents.
Well, you would think that would be like top priority for them too. Like you would think that, I mean, hey, to be honest, there were a lot of things that I didn't feel or didn't know of. I was like, oh wow, okay, well that worked, you know, like it's like I felt like we were rallied around and kind of y'all provided like a buffer between us and like the bad guys, you know, or the bad world or
the big
whomever
public.
bad evil was. Yeah, the big public or just whatever out there was. And so I really appreciated that level of whether it was mental, I don't know. It just was comforting. And I actually feared whenever like Lori's case was finished adjudicating or, you know, finished in the judicial system. And I was like, oh shit, the spotlight, that is insurance, man. That is insurance. When the spotlight is on, the cockroaches are not there. But when you turn the lights off, boy, they are.
Yep. There's someone in chat who's been pestering me all night. Honeycomb Hideout, I'm going to call you out because I'm taking my power back today. All right. I'd never worked for Mark Means. Don't be freaking ridiculous. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Did I talk to him? Absolutely I did. Like any other reporter, you know, like Justin and Nate, they all talk to Mark Means. Why aren't you yelling at him? You know, you're not yelling at them. I didn't work for the man. I talked to him because he was willing to talk to me, and that was amazing. But I also said that on every live stream I had. Hey, I've been talking to Mark Means. Just so you all know, here you go. And Kresha, did I not call you and your parents and tell you that?
I don't know about my parents, but you called me. I can only speak, and I don't remember.
Okay, all right.
I've been having
flashbacks.
Well, I've been trying to have flashbacks because I buried it down so far. It was it's painful. Like that was it was anguish and confusion. And I was like, what the hell's going on? It's just, it was weird. It's like a silent or a whisper campaign, if you will.
It was insane.
That's what it felt like. It was like, what? But nobody would like acknowledge me.
Yep. But I mean, as far as you know, Hellas and Matthias, Hellas knew that I was talking to Means because Hellas was my legal advisor at the time. Everything that I did, I'd run it by Lori Hellas. Is this legal? Can I do this? Should I do this? Should I do that? And she was keeping me on the straight and narrow, right? So I wouldn't screw up. If you're covering an ongoing investigation, you can screw up really easily if you don't know what you're doing, right? So thankfully, at the time, I had Lori Hellas keeping me safe. So she knew everything that was going on. Every conversation I had with Mark Means, she knew too, to make sure I was safe legally.
Yeah.
And I thought it was working great until they got mad at me. And they started with this, oh, Awen's working for Mark Means. She's trying to help Lori Vallow. Like, oh, come on. And it just snowballed from there. And those two got quiet, Matthias and Hellas, and they let their flying monkeys come at me. And they came at me like I've never seen anything like this. And I decided at the time, because I had talked to, I had called Kay and Larry and told them what was going on. And they're like, girl, if we're mad at you, you're going to know it. You're fine. I was like, okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah,
So, I went away. But once I realized that they were going after Kay and Larry and you and Colby and Annie Cushing and anyone they could find, I said, it's not fair for the family members, the victim's family, to get crapped on because these people have a beef with me. That's not okay with me, right? And so I thought my best plan of action is my own advice. The only way to win with a narcissist is not to play. So
Don't
I
engage.
left. I stopped making YouTubes. I walked away from my 7,000 member community. I walked away from friends. Paul from reporting live from my sofa. Y'all know, if you know me, I loved Paul. I was with Paul every day, but I didn't want him to get the backlash from this crazy stuff. So I walked away.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in 5 years. Still makes me cry. I love Paul.
I told Awen before we came on, before the show, I was like, Paul, he has done it right. I mean, in my opinion, like, he has been supportive. I felt supported, his support, but also his distance, like, I just appreciate his way of going about it. Like, you did it right, Paul. Everybody should model after you, anyways. I appreciate him.
Yeah. So
it's not.
My decision was walk away, not because I was a chicken or weak or whatever, but because I didn't want anyone else to get hurt because I pissed them off somehow. So I thought it was the safest option. I regret that a little bit because I think if I had fought, maybe they wouldn't have gotten their hooks into Kay and Larry. Maybe all the stuff with Hellas and El Mom and stuff, and you wouldn't have gone down. Maybe I let it happen by walking away. So I've dealt with a lot of that guilt. But if it wasn't them, there's crazy people everywhere.
That's what I shared with you earlier. I was like, no, you can't sit there and blame yourself. These women it's like they had to go their own course. It's like it has its lifespan, and it's just they're gonna combust. And
Yep.
it has imploded right before our eyes, and without you or anybody intervening. Like, it's just they're doing it on their own, which is organic, and hopefully it'll just absorb the bad energy back into the freaking universe.
Exactly.
And keep that shit there because nobody wants it.
So certainly this last week has brought all of this back up for me, because I thought I had put it to bed, but oh no, here we go. Like, well, what's happening now? And it's awful to see it because now
they're saying true crime is slow, so she had to, create drama.
Yep.
Create your future, create your success, I guess.
They didn't just stop with me 5 years ago. There's been all these other victims. Gigi was talking about it. Christina, certainly. Who, goodness knows who else.
Yeah.
Goodness knows. But
I mean,
they went after a lot of people.
If like my aunt, her murder case, right? Her and her husband and their cult. It's high profile. That doesn't happen in every case. And I mean, there's this many people involved. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of family members of the victims. And I know it's a lot to keep up with. There's a lot of people involved. But it's it tells you something when even like my mom just shared and I shared, that, and you've shared that's 3 people right there back to back that are saying I felt intimidated. I felt like I could not come out and even say a criticism, but I did anyway. So there's that. But so much so that somebody took it to Reddit and they were like, do y'all know what's going on with Krisha and Lauren? And anyways, I was just like, what the hell?
Oh, goodness.
And, and that's another thing is the whole need to know. Do you need to know or you just want to know? Sometimes it's not. I mean, like, I had to pick my battles, I'm sure. Did you feel that way too? Like, you just kind of have to well, what do I do? Because I mean, you don't want to divide the community any more than they already are. That's never my intention. And I
Right.
mean, if you have to pick, or if you feel like you have to choose them. Okay.
Yep.
Because, I'm good. I've had somebody, I was analyzing, I'll say analyzing, Summer Shiflett. Okay.
Mm,
She did an interview with Nate Eaton right after, when she should have showed up for, in my opinion, for court to represent Tylee. She didn't. But yet she showed up and made, she was able to appear on East Idaho News. And I was like,
right.
what? And so I do what I do with everything, right? And then I just put the video on and I was like, what? It's being critical.
Mm-hmm.
And some lady was like, oh, oh, I don't know if she said that because I can't hear people, but she was just like, I'm unsubscribing. And I was like, oh, I wish I had the damn luxury, like I wish that's what it was about, lady.
Yep.
Go on. And I mean, I don't know if sometimes this needs to be a reminder that,
Mm-hmm.
for us, it's not a switch. We can't just shut it off. It continues on, will
Yep.
continue on. Every hearing, if there are appeals, which there are, that's a continued thing. And,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so I don't know. Everybody's just on to the next thing, and I get it. That was 6 years of
Yep.
Lori and Chud.
But I
So,
mean, it was when I walked away, I found a lot of peace. I have a very wonderful husband and a beautiful family, and I have had a wonderful, quiet life the past 5 years. But I did get messages from the L mom when she started going through it. She's like, "Help! Am I crazy?" I was like,
I'm so
"Oh dear."
glad.
All right, and here we go. Lori Hellis again, Lauren Matthias again. I'm like, goodness. And it's so hard to sit back and watch it and stay quiet.
Yeah.
It's
And,
monstrously
mm,
hard. But was I being selfish? Maybe. I liked my quiet, peaceful life. But after seeing what Lauren did in her 9-hour live to Christina, because I watched all 9 hours. Okay, I'm
I
crazy.
did. Well, I showed up 55 minutes into it, so you got me.
Yeah, but I wanted to hear. I was waiting to hear. Okay, where's the stalking? I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. I was like, okay, who's stalking you? At first, I thought maybe it was Lori Hellis, but no. She has issues. They have beef, but whatever. But I
Yeah.
never heard anything of stalking. I was like, wait, all she did was make some TikToks
Yeah,
vaguely
she
about you
criticized you.
that you
She
didn't like.
criticized.
That's it.
Mhm. Yep.
That's
Don't
not
come over here then.
stalking.
You're gonna get your feelings hurt.
Right. And I'm sitting over here
Uh,
like, remember what you did to me?
yeah. No,
That
she
was
don't.
way worse than a little TikTok. Girl, you are sitting pretty. What are you crying about? You know? And that's what got me. The hypocrisy of crying well, pretend crying on camera about someone making some little TikToks about, oh, she was so mean. They were very mild TikToks. They really are. After what she
Oh,
did to
yeah.
me personally, the war she waged against me was insane. Like, who do you think you are? And then thinking about, wait a minute, she's all mushed in with the Woodcocks. Oh no,
Yeah, no.
oh,
I
and I was
was
like, that's it. I got to
upset.
come out of this. It is not time to stay quiet anymore. It's just not.
And Colby,
So,
like, she
oh,
knows
they just had
she
Colby on
knows
the
how to
other
work
day,
with
didn't
Kelly.
they? Mm,
Yeah. I'm glad to see, actually, I wanted to say that. I'm glad to see that Colby and Kelsey were here. And
yeah.
I'm just glad to see that they're not being snowballed more. And I mean, it's an uncomfortable freaking position to be put into. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It
Yep.
really is. You're just trying
Yep.
to look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. I'm just saying. The devil's in the details, y'all. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, um,
Yeah, but there
yeah,
there
it's
were
a
a lot of
very
people that were hurt, and I don't want to be quiet anymore. They don't have any more power over me. What? I don't have a YouTube channel. Well, it's still there, but I don't do YouTube anymore. What are you going to threaten me with? I'm going to lose subs? Oh no, I mean, you got nothing. Come at me,
yeah,
bro. Leave the
yeah,
family alone. Come at me,
right.
because I can't do it anymore, Krisha. I love you guys too much. I can't be quiet and let them steamroll the next person or the next
Mhm.
victim's family for the next case that comes up.
because it will happen, and it likely already has. You know, I mean, we've
Mhm.
watched her cover other cases, and I mean, can I genuinely or legitimately ask myself if Lauren is factual when I saw the shit show evidence that was presented when I watched it critically the second time? I
Yeah.
was like, what the no. That's not evidence, boo. That is, I don't know what that is.
Mhm.
Manufactured, created, fabricated, skewed, twisted. I don't know. Whatever in whateverville, but I don't really trust anything more. I don't
Yep.
respect her anymore.
Yep.
I'm not even gonna try to, which is awesome.
Mhm.
It's
But
freeing
I
all
mean,
on itself.
this is her MO. She beats up the smaller creators, even though at that time I was much larger creator than her because she had just started, but she wanted my audience. So, okay, let's take her down. Let's make up all kinds of lies about her. Let's put it out in our little book newsletter and put it all over Reddit and lie about stuff. And maybe they were banking on the fact that I just get up and walk away and be quiet. I
Yeah,
did, not for the
we
reasons they
like that.
think, but they bet and it worked for them. So then they kept doing it again. They did it again. And they turned other creators at me. Like there's a lot of people in your chat tonight that I'm like, you had quite a go at me because you believed what they said. But
Well,
I'm like, you believed what they
yeah,
said. A lot of people did.
but
I'm
they're
not
here
mad at you,
now. It's
Kathy. I
like
see you.
we got it right, right.
Yeah.
We both
But
have
yeah,
complaints in that department.
even Kathy left undone is hi Kathy,
Yeah,
I see you.
yeah, yeah.
She had a massive go at me based
I
on
was
what Hellas and Matthias told her, which was not true, and she's since come around. But that happens. That happens. But that's very different than the Flying Monkey Brigade, who will haunt you day and night wherever you go and
standing
threaten
on
to kill
their
you.
truth. Like you're like, what? Not just that, like doubling and tripling down
Mm-hmm.
on I'm right and everybody else. It's just y'all are seeing it wrong.
Yep.
Don't you? That's gaslighting
Yep.
like crazy time.
And
It's
even right now,
I'm
we've
like,
got,
you're a doctor? Like, what is going on right now? It's a
yep.
little scary over here.
Like, I mean, you've come out before about Lori Hellis years ago. I think I saw some lives about that. And right now, Lori Hellis, she's sitting pretty because Lauren did apparently give away some free copies of her book,
Yeah,
allegedly.
he bought
Um,
receipts, allegedly.
right, which
Yeah.
is horrible. That's a horrible thing to do. If she
I
did that
don't
to Lori Hellis, shame on her. I may
whether
not
it was
like Lori
3
Hellis, but
copies
that's still
or
wrong.
10,000. It's
Yeah,
wrong.
it's very wrong. Yep.
It's not your property, like you want to take the higher road. I would think an ethical person would take the higher road.
Right.
And then so here we are.
Yep. But that doesn't mean I like Lori Hellis. I mean, she certainly has a point. But Lori Hellis, I mean, I've got that email that they told me, and I will put it on the screen if I need to, that says,
Run
if
it.
you say one more mean word about me or Lauren Matthias, I'm going to release all of your texts to the public.
Oh my
And I'm
God.
like,
Mean
and,
means that actually
and
means
what?
the truth.
Right? I'm like, I
You
don't
expose
have
me.
texts bashing other people like you do. What are you going to do? You're going to have text where I told you privileged information between my conversation with an attorney? That would not be smart. But knock your
Right.
socks off. If that's
Yeah.
what you feel you need to do, you're going to be the one in trouble, not me, because they threatened me with jail. Oh, Awen, you're going to go to jail for what? All right. What did I do? Because I didn't. You're allowed to talk to attorneys if you want. If they talk
Right.
back, most of them wouldn't because they're smarter than that. But, that's all. But they
Yeah.
wanted the information I was getting so they could put it on their channel and push my channel down and they could get all the views. That's all it was about. Clicks and views. Clicks and
Hmm.
views. They would
And
hurt
that's, yeah.
anyone.
Yeah, I noticed that they don't even like J is for Justice, or Every Day with Jay. I mean, I'm just repeating things that I picked up, from everybody else, from the community. So, I'm not trying to steal anything or steal anybody's thunder, but
Yep.
they don't even acknowledge people in their chat. It's like they know that the chat is there for that's their fans. Like that's not their community. They're like talking at them and not to them or
Hmm.
engaging really. they're just like after that 9-hour live at the very end, she just started clipping through, and I saw that from Turtle Boy. He was like, what is this? The one from John the next night with both of them or whatever, when they scheduled right over me, they scheduled their premiere right the hell over me, which is par for the course. That's normal. And I'm like, okay, go ahead and show your colors again. Whatever, used to it. But at the very end, they just leave on a bathroom break. I'm like, what the fuck? What are y'all doing? Like, what is this even? And it was edited. I mean, like nothing. I don't understand.
It was weird.
I don't know if they went to the dark side. Uncle John. I have an Uncle John that passed away. But anyway, Dr. John. I mean, look, I study the signs and symbols, and I just got into all this recently. And I mean, he was throwing some triangles. I was like, oh, okay. And you're talking about the moral crusade? Okay, Knight. Are you saying you're a Knight Templar?
Yep.
Candidate? I just want to know.
Yep.
Anyway.
And Ronnie Mitchell in chat, Lori Hellis may not be as bad as I'm making her out to be to you, but she was to me. And that's all. I have an email that's basically a blackmail. If you do this, I'm going to do that and embarrass you. Like, no, you don't do that. So that was my experience. Has she changed? I hope so. Has she grown up? I hope so. I don't know. But all the stuff that went down with the property, Chad's property that got sold, that was ugly. That was ugly. And that wasn't me. That was Lori Hellis. So, I'm just giving my experience, how they treated me, and what I'm seeing happening right now. And I am sad that they're hurting other people. That just makes me
it's the same kind of behaviors, right?
The same MO. Yep. Like literally some of the words she said in her 9-hour about Christina, I'm like, I have an email from you with those exact words to me. What are you talking about? And so even the verbiage is the same. It's crazy. It's like you're just repeating this over and over and over from creator to creator to creator, or anyone that doesn't like you. That's not okay. And the last thing that is on my mind about this, I have details that I could talk about for hours, but I'm tired. But what saved me the last week from not going completely losing my mind and reliving all of that horror from the past was Turtle Boy. Watching his live streams gave me a space where I could just laugh. Like when you said McArches, oh my goodness, did I laugh so hard.
I needed that space.
I did too. Exactly. That's what you said earlier. Like we needed that place to just laugh.
Just vent and just not be freaking moral police, or thought police even. I mean, good God, like it just felt freeing. And I mean, I wasn't in the chat or anything, but I was just like, oh my God, yes, he said the C word. Oh my God, yes, that's her. That's it.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Having that no moral police where you can just feel what you're really feeling, and Turtle Boy, I'm like, I told my husband the other day, I said, if he reaches out, I think I'd talk to him because he makes me feel like he's not going to let those bullies keep doing this to anyone else. He just has that energy, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah. He's like, cool. that is harassment. That is stalking.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And when he's so sarcastic and he's like, oh no. Oh no. And I'm just picturing the white girl, privileged white lady syndrome thing where she wouldn't know a tough time if it hit her in the ass.
Yep.
Even this tough time that she created for herself, in my opinion.
And that
seems unfazed like Lori.
Yeah, that's what gets me the most is watching the 9-hour stream. It's like, why did you say anything? It would have been better for you to not mention this at all because none of us knew about this stuff. But what I realized is she's just trying to get ahead of her bad text coming out.
Absolutely. How many people think that?
Because that's exactly what they threatened me with 5 years ago.
Was, we got this on you. Blackmail. That's exactly how the elites do it. By the way,
Isn't it? Isn't it though? Yep. The elites that are
JSN.
protecting certain parts of the story. You and I worked very hard on certain parts of the story. We had our own Discord server where we put all our documents. We were sorting them out, going, the Mike Stroud direction and all that stuff. That was big and overwhelming, but that
Eval
never got
protected,
any
yeah.
traction.
And I have a theory for that. I mean, I don't know. I started on this little thought process today. And while they're still legal to have thoughts, right? I don't know. I just kind of, it opened up some avenues and I was like, holy crap, this could be what this really is. And why we're seeing what we're seeing play out right in front of us, except for not Kathy. It's really just more Lauren, more Lauren. And to me, yeah, but I want you to be able to at least say get the better part of it behind you first, and then I'll.
Well, the funny thing about it, honestly, is that one of my subs from 5 years ago reached out to me the other day in Discord and said, "Hey, when all this stuff is going on, you got to tell your story. You got to get out there. People need to know." And I was like, nah, I'm not comfortable with that. No, I have a nice, quiet life. I need to keep it that way. And he's like, "No, you got to tell your story." And so he talked to me. He called me this morning. We talked for 3 hours. And I'm like, You're right. I got to do this, Joe." And I thought, and I told him and my husband, I said, the only people that I even think about what they think about me at that time is Kay, Larry, and Kresha. If those 3 are okay, my life is good and I'm golden and I'm happy, right? Because all the random flying monkeys, I'm not going to convince them. They're never going to believe me if they don't want to. There's nothing I can do to convince them. And it just hurt me to my core that you all might have had that opinion of me from Lauren and Lori.
I really don't remember having. I just remember
You
just being like,
didn't.
"What? We were
Yeah.
getting waylaid," like I don't.
Yep.
That's what it
You
felt
had
like.
too much to deal with
We were
back then,
getting
and like,
waylaid by Lori and Chad's actions in the court, and like
yep,
just the things that would happen, and we're like, "What?" Just I don't know. It was
yep.
crazy. That is
Like
crazy.
Kay just said, back then, this was what, early or late 2020, early 2021. It was very early in the case. You were not worried about internet drama, Mean Girls.
No,
You had
I'd laugh in my damn mind.
plenty to deal with. And that's why I chose to walk away, because I was like, you don't need more of this shit. You don't need me trying to defend myself to you, because that's just more garbage. It's more internet drama. You didn't need that. But that was always my biggest regret. But I
Yeah.
think that's sorted now, and certainly
Yeah.
if Turtle Boy calls me, I will be like, all right, I got to dig up all my papers. I've got a box of file folders somewhere with all my receipts. I'll be like, let's do it. Let's do it. They have no
Yeah.
power over us anymore.
There's this. I'm gonna cuss. So all you sensitive people, cover your ears. But there's a thing where it says, "Fuck it, we're going live. Fuck it. All right, fucking thing sucks."
Yes.
I laugh every time. And so yeah, F it.
Yep.
Speak your
It's like
truth. I mean, we want to know. We've been dying to know. Like, I know what it seems like to me. I know what it felt like to me. I know what it looked like to me, even though I couldn't directly stare at it. But there was something off. And then my friend Jen, my very dear friend Jen, that I miss with all my heart, right? I mean, I feel like they won because they did what they conquered, and they divide. And I couldn't help her. And I mean, she got hacked, but then Lauren claimed she was hacked. Was she though? Because it sounds like I said this earlier, like it seems like kind of the same pattern with Christina. If I'm just gonna hypothesize here, where you claim something happened to you, like stalking and or hacking, and then but something is actually happening to people you want out.
Right.
And so it's like a twofer,
Yeah.
That I was like, whoa, that kind of that matches, that aligns. I hope that's not true, but it really, really feels like it is, and it really, really maybe. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. I hope not.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
we kind
someone
of
in
already
chat
did.
says that Jen is living her own life without any of this YouTube drama. She is now, but there were times when she would call Kresha and me middle of the
I mean,
night, all upset with this
it's
stuff. This stuff is really hurtful.
I
Okay,
mean,
we're
I've
not
removed myself because I feel like I was bringing pain
bringing
or
more of it. Yeah.
yeah, like anguish. I was like, "Oh my god." I know this is horrible to liken it to this, but it's like an STD or something
Mm,
where you're like, "Oh my god, I can't help you," but it's invisible, but you trying to help the person and you don't know how, but you feel like you're responsible for what's happening. I mean, I had nothing to do with it beside again, all I got to do is be related to Lori and Chad, like this
yep.
case and that's it.
Yep.
So she's the only person, and I didn't ask her to do this, which is even nicer. It's even more genuine. She was the only person I could talk to. I felt silenced,
Mm-hmm.
not just because of what was going on around me and all the just the case, all the craziness, all the feelings and emotions. My uncle was murdered, but also the things that I was learning about the scriptures, about the Book of Mormon, about the church, about Lori and Chad's beliefs. And then here come Jen, and I reached out to her and then, we struck up a friendship. She's awesome. And she got me. Like I didn't have to sit there and I mean, I couldn't even articulate the things, I was just like, I felt like Maggie on The Simpsons, where she's just, I think it's Maggie, the baby, where she's just sucking on the pacifier and just like I could just point at things and Jen would be like, "Oh, okay, Timmy's in the well," that kind of thing.
Yep.
And I'm like, "Yeah, that." She would articulate it for me, and I mean that was such a huge relief.
Yep.
And yeah, just like she got me, and she wasn't ignoring me like everybody else, it seemed, well,
Mm-hmm.
that's anyways, that's speaking authoritatively for sure on this case, especially when I'm trying to form the words, but she was a big help and relief, and I hated to see that happened to her. I still don't know what happened. I have my assumptions,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you know anything about that, but
I don't know exactly what happened. Certainly, her and I did some work and had our suspicions, but nothing that I can bring as evidence. But she worked through a lot of it. I think she's probably still going through a little some of it, but she's so. I just love talking to her. She's so wonderful, and the fact that
yeah,
she's just another pawn in
another
their play.
yeah.
It's awful. Someone
Oh,
asked me in chat about the comment I made about the sale of Chad's property. Now, what you'll
did you?
probably need to do is go back and look at Lori Hellis's videos herself, because I'm hearing this second, third person. But you know what? Whatever. If they can throw out lies and rumors, so can I. Huh. But go back and check. I believe Lori Hellis had some comments about Kay's reaction to that were
No.
extraordinarily unkind. That's
Oh,
all
where
I'm
she
going to say.
said, yeah, she's like, "I don't care
Yeah.
what." Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
care
yeah.
what the family
We
thinks.
did
What does she have a right? Yeah.
that's when I did, like, the first part of this. What I said was gonna be, just me unburdening myself today, but because it was like a 1-2 punch, and Lori was the first one, and this one's the second one, and they're quite far apart. It's hard to, like, I don't keep journals, okay? I mean, I write down my
Yep.
notes and everything when I can, but,
Yep.
I mean, it's a lot to keep up with. And that also means feelings and stuff, and I don't I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Whatever." I kinda let it go or I bury I don't know what I did with it. It hurts still if I don't know.
Mm.
Just I know it was a lot of dumb fuckery
Yep.
and mean girl tag teaming shit and a lot of threats, and it was unnecessary. It was
Mhm.
wrong, and it's reminiscent of what is happening right now today.
Yep. And the only way to stop it going forward is to be like, all right, let's tell our stories. I'm not the
Take
only
the
one.
power back.
I'm
Yep.
not the only one out there, and people are going to tell their stories when we feel safe enough. And honestly, between me watching your live and Turtle Boy's lives, I felt safe enough to come forward.
I'm
And
glad.
we got to do that to stop them from doing this to somebody else.
Yes. Don't silence, it breeds victim.
Hmm.
I remember, I don't know if this is original, but I mean, I didn't get it from anybody, but I said it one day. I was like, to turn and look the other way is to silence another victim. And so if I look the other way and pretend I didn't see something going on. Doesn't mean that it's not happening, it's not going on, it's not bad, and, it just means that I'm choosing to ignore it, and I can't, I couldn't have a clear conscience if I did that. So, if I look the other way and pretend it didn't happen, that's silencing another victim. Look, I just saw Mom's name.
Yep.
Kay Woodcock spoke about Lauren tonight. Turtle boy.
Oh, also, all eyes on Delphi. No, I'm not referring to that. I don't know what you're talking about. So, no, that's not what I was referring to at all. Just to
I
clear that up.
followed Lauren's reporting on that and came up to a whole opposite conclusion, but I have a theory for that. I have a little, that's what I'm gonna share later. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I've been out of the loop for 5 years, so I got a lot to catch up on, but I'm thinking I'm just gonna go do my normal Trader Joe's run and crochet a blanket. Because I'm happy with that life, man. That's a good
Right.
life for me.
It's
Yeah.
less drama. It's no drama.
Yes.
And this is another thing right here. Duty Ron. I mean, he's never been in my chat and supporting me. Just letting you know. I
Yeah.
don't know if anybody noticed, but whatever. Again, the sun comes up for everybody every day.
I used to watch Duty Ron faithfully. He used to say hi in my chat once in a while, when he first got started, because I was here before he was too. I'm an old hat around these parts.
Look.
But I cannot understand how he can just dive into this full-throated support for Lauren without
No
thinking
fact
it
check.
through. Right. Think it through for
No
a
bias.
second. Look at the court. The court audio's out there. Jay for Justice had it. That's where I listened to it. Jay had the best audio. Go listen to what the judge said. There's your answer. The judge told you this was not stalking. That's it. That's it. The judge said it, not me. So
Oh, exactly. And so I actually saw one of their mods Friday night after mine ended. I was like, oh shit, maybe they're snarking back at me, because they plowed right over me. But and I'm saying that I'm not trying to be bitter about it. I'm not saying it because of that. I'm saying it because it needs to be known. Like, she pretends to be victim oriented. I'm not a victim, but I'm a family member, but I don't count. I'm not victim enough for her. You understand?
right. Yeah.
She couldn't do nothing with me. So, I mean, hopefully that's when my
Well,
RBF, my resting bitch face kicked in, and maybe it
can I
scared her.
tell
I
you
don't know.
something? I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you something. And I don't want this to hurt you because you know how I think of you. I think you are just the cat's ass, and there's nobody
I'm
better than
open.
Kresha. But way, way, way back, I think before or when you and I had just started talking or just connected, someone from that Facebook group, Leanne Hicks and
Yeah.
Colette and all of those people, there were
That's
two of them.
underground. Yeah.
Yes,
I was in
that
all
one.
of them.
They reached out to me, and now this was, I don't know if they were with Lauren or if she was in that group. I had so many group texts going back at the time.
She was in all of them too.
But they told me that they needed me to get close to you so I could keep guardrails on you.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
like,
can sense that. Not from you, but I sensed it from them.
yeah. And I was like, what did you just say to me? That was kind of my answer. Like,
You
excuse
just
me?
brought that up. Yeah, I have saved. I have not deleted any text conversations since the beginning of this case. My phone is, just bulging. It's bursting because I got a good ass chewing, or I don't know, setting me straight, I guess, whenever I was bucking out against this one right here on the screen. Yep.
But I mean, so from day one, there have been people trying to decide who has to be quiet and who doesn't have to be quiet.
I forgot.
So we've all been gate kept by them for years.
Isn't
And
that
now
something?
stops, man.
It's like, come on, control freaks. Like, that's what Lori is. That's what Ruby and Jody are. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I'm not victim enough. I got to be a better victim. And that's
and she's
kind
up
of the
here
name of this
crying.
game.
And Lauren's up here crying coercive control. I'm like, woman, you do not understand what that means. Good Lord. But, I have seen her ignore your comments in chat until you do a super chat. I've seen that.
And
I've
I'm
seen
like,
that myself.
I'm gonna make her say my name.
Mm,
You know, my family would be in there, Jerry, Melanie, my mom, Larry, and I'd be like, oh, I'll make her say
yeah.
my name.
But
Look,
they
Business
didn't give you
triangle.
the platform. You were trying to do so much good. Remember you wanted to do that mental health awareness month thing?
Yeah.
And you had talked to me. I was like, let's do it. Let's do it big. But they were pushing you down so much that you're just like, I give up. Man, these people won't stop. They will not leave
Right.
me alone.
And I also felt, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I'm just sighing in disgust at how much good we may have wasted by kowtowing to them. Or at least me, not you.
Yeah.
You didn't kowtow. I kowtowed.
Yeah, it's like I wasn't worried about all that. Like that was not even on my radar, you know? Like any anything close to me was not on my radar. I was looking at the bigger picture. I was mean mugging the church, you know, because it was really weird and odd how it responded and or didn't respond. All of it
Yep.
was super weird, and so I was trying to learn the structure of it, like what president? What are you talking about? It's just a total culture shock, and I mean, I'm glad I did what I did. Nobody else, I would say, on either side of the families have done it. Some of them belong to it.
Yep.
Some of them are mad because I did. Some of them, like Nate, he has not interviewed me.
Yep.
And I mean, he's like, I want to interview everybody. And I'm like, bullshit. Bullshit. Because you look the other damn way. Why?
Yep.
You don't think I can, you know,
Figure that
contain
out. Yeah.
myself? You know, like, I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
But it just is hurtful when you're like, I have been, and I'm just stating a pattern that I continuously went through, felt, experienced. I was ignored. I was not visible. I did not exist. I I don't know. I felt like I ruined their day, you know, when I'd show up in like her lives or, you know, and I'm just like, God, I'm just sharing. I'm sharing the information here. This is what I know. This is what I know. Unfortunately, I know it by heart.
Yeah.
And I want to help.
They did that. They'd be like, oh, it's just crash up. Where's Kay? I was like,
Yep.
wow. Wow, man.
Y'all, you know, fuck you.
Yep.
Is what I'm saying.
Yep.
Because wow, you know how that feels. I mean, I always just kind of tucked it away because, like, you can't. Lord help them.
Right.
You know,
They don't know. They don't know. They'll never
no,
understand that.
or they do and they don't care. So it's
Well, yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm nothing but a stepping stool to these people who
Yep.
have stepped over my head, on my head, teeth on the curb type shit, you know, like, and then kicking dust the whole way, ignoring me the rest of the way, and then smooching up to my parents and then having, you know, calling my parents mama and pawpaw. And
Oh,
I'm just like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like,
that
what
made
is
me
that
sick to my
happening?
stomach.
Single white female.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind
That
of
was awful.
It
Yep.
was.
And it's just in line with her just the other night comparing herself to Charles and Tylee. Like
Yep. Oh, that's
there,
bad. Like,
there's a
don't do
tone
that.
deafness that you cannot describe with this woman.
No.
You know?
No, there's a, you know, do whatever to me. Do whatever to us who are still here. Beat us up, kick our ass, but you're not going to victimize the victims that you make money off of. You make your livelihood. She's done warped into them, okay? She's
Right.
already morphed into them. Huh?
Yeah. And
Oh, I
she's
thought that
crying
was
in her
mom.
live
I'm like,
stream.
where'd the mom come from?
Oh, is she there?
I don't know. Mom. Anyways.
But Lauren is in her live stream and crying about Christina trying to re-victimize the victims. I'm like, oh no, honey.
Yeah,
That
no,
is not
mom.
Christina. Look in the mirror. Every accusation is a confession. Period. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, she's unraveling. It's gonna unravel. It's not doing it quite as well. I mean, I don't know. Did she buy her subs? I mean, that's a legitimate question.
See, I know nothing about. I didn't know you could buy subs. I wasn't in that
I've
part
heard.
of YouTube, I guess.
I've heard. I can't afford to. You know, I've never. I've been honest here. The most money that I have had, and it's because my community pulled together and really tried to take the weight off of, just the pressure. It's
Right.
Jason's on the fixed income. I'm not going to go into all that because I'm not pitying myself. I'm just saying, my mom, I've gotten this one too, well, Kay can pay for it. She got the $1 million. And I'm like, that's not how this fucking works. Okay.
Goodness.
I don't go, hey, mommy, can you pay that's not how this works. So it's like, anyways, it was just beautiful in my community to pull together, and a couple really, big donors. They just, I don't know, made it great. And I got $2,000 in, one time in 1 month with it all together.
Nice.
And I was like, oh my God, yes. I don't have to freak out or fret or worry or in a foreign place by myself, while my moderator decided to wage war on me. And I'm like, oh shit. Oh no, what the hell? I mean, it was crazy. It was coming from all sides. And I was like, I don't know what ends up. I tell you though, red flag is when somebody says that they knew another crime victim, like Shannon Watts. Run. I'm gonna say run.
Yep.
Run.
Yep. Definitely.
Run. Don't give your passwords. I was having to change passwords. That's what happened the last time when I was actually the first time I went to Boise for Lori's trial. And Lauren, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Jen and Michelle Jen got me, and she brought me back to their house in Salt Lake City area. And I did a live stream, and that's when I found out my mod basically sat there and watched as I couldn't slow the chat down. As you can see, I still can. And I still never learned. I usually don't have this many people. I've never had this many people in a live stream. Lauren has always, she'd be attending a trial, and then she'd also be streaming it. Right. Cornering the market. How dare? Yep. It's just like Nate Eaton's second channel, Meet and Eaton's, and they're like 10,000 views, and I'm like 854. And I'm like, whatever. I'm not fake. I didn't sell out. Okay. Sell out to my damn family. Move on. And actually, I remember whenever Mom told me about having the memorial for the kids, which is interesting. We're going to dig into that soon because of, and I'm not trying to drag anybody else into it, but just affiliations. I'm all about connections. And I have some, I was already sus, but now I made a few more. But anyways, before that memorial, I was like, Mom, two things. I was like, can I be only one that films it or, streams it? And the other thing is, can we not have any goddamn Mormon blessings, please? Yeah. She was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So I got one out of the two, and which was no Mormon blessing. So that's a win. That's a win. Yep. Yep. The other thing is just, I don't know, par for the course, and probably something my mom didn't even address. How people are. They're just kind of, or at least these people, I'm just going to say, they just kind of show up and tell you what they're going to do. Or, they just, I don't know, they kind of interweave themselves into I don't know.
Whatever they need.
Yeah.
Yeah. They decide what they need and then go for it. Yep.
But act like they're helping. Yeah. Goddamn Mormon blessings. Yeah.
Yeah. If
you're in the first place, man.
Yeah. I mean, if you're hiding the fact that you're LDS from your chat for years.
Yep. And
while covering a murder founded in LDS religion culty things, that's a problem to me. And that shows that you're willing to put your faith on hold to chase the almighty dollar and to go after the victims' families in order to make yourself look better to do that.
And that make us instill fear into us. Obviously, right? That was a theme that I've been kind of noticing. Like scared to even speak out. And She does not own this goddamn case. She does not own this community. She does not own my channel.
Nope.
She does not own me. She doesn't, you, any of us.
Nobody owns this
Even
case
her Jim.
except the family, right? But I was here
Oh.
long before Lauren was, so girl, shut it.
It's like,
You know?
it's weird. And there's this underbelly that people don't know about, even, I don't think. And I'm just like, I've been disgusted. Like, ew, that's CrimeCon. Give it up already, please.
Mm,
Like, that's setting the stage, I think, for the norm. Like, I understand it's interesting, but there's got to be some other way to do it where it's not like fans
right.
and what obviously a place where Lauren likes to go tromping around, you know, and ruling the roost, it seems. But I mean, people are not property. I feel weird having to even say that. Like, that doesn't even, I don't even know. Doesn't even math. You know, it's like, why am I even having to say that?
Yep.
Nobody is your property. The victims aren't your property. I mean, they're not even, they're nobody's property. Okay. Like, give people their autonomy. I understand that people, and I really believe this is a beautiful thing and it's a healing thing. I believe that people kind of interconnect, you know, they can link up to something and share feelings or an experience that maybe that victim experienced and then they experience, so it like bonds them, you
Right.
know. They,
Yeah.
not a favorite victim, that sounds hideous, but somebody, I mean, I've had people say I feel guilty for you know, really uh putting my all into Charles, you know, versus the kids. And I'm like,
Right.
don't feel
Right.
guilty for how you feel. And that's something Jen
Mhm.
did teach me, is that nobody gets to tell you how to grieve.
Right.
That was very freeing because I felt like I didn't even belong.
Well, especially here in this public setting, you feel like you need to grieve publicly the way everyone expects you to on YouTube because they're going to yell at you if you don't.
Mhm.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
It's really not okay. And that's why when it comes to true crime, it may be something for us as a society to think about not doing this.
When you, especially when you say you're here to support the victims and the victims' families, and I'm
Right.
like, are you? But are you though?
Hmm.
These are okay questions to ask yourself. Like, it's okay. Just be real with your, when you answer yourself, be sure you're being real,
Yep.
because if not, you're going to end up in this circular echo chamber that Lauren
Hmm.
preached about.
You know, there were several videos that I thought might be a little controversial, and so what I did first was I sent them to family members who were be impacted by it, and be like, "What do you think of this? Can I run with this, or do you not like it?" And my moderator at the time, the one who went crazy and started her own YouTube channel, was like, "Why would you ask the family that?" I'm like, "What? Why wouldn't I? This is their story. Of course, I'm going to ask them if they're comfortable with this, and if they're not, I'm not putting it up." Like,
Mhm.
"You don't need their permission." I was like, "No, I don't need their permission, but I want it because it's morally
Right.
the right thing to do."
And it just makes you feel better or
Right.
whatever. I mean, maybe it didn't, because it didn't do that for Lauren
Yep.
and Laura, in my
Yep.
opinion. They just kind of had their own agenda. And I mean, obviously they both achieved, right? I would
Mhm.
say that would be a success.
Yep.
Um, I felt bad too because Brandy, which is Monkey's mom, you know, she showed up in that 9-hour live too, and Lauren was like, "Oh, I love you," you know, and I'm like, "Do
Mm.
you? But
Yeah.
do you though?" You know, I mean, it's just I don't know if Lauren loves herself. I mean, I think that's a genuine, I mean, a legit question to ask.
Yep.
I don't
It's
know. She
perfectly
seems
fair.
very detached, disconnected, especially towards the end of the live. It's like she can't stand to hear John talk unless it's
Yeah.
about her.
Mm.
I don't
It
know. It's
the
weird.
the response video was very weird. I felt very uncomfortable watching their body language. I'm not a body language expert, but just looking at them was like, uh, 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 it just felt weird. Certainly, the gaslighting was beyond the pale. That was word salad like I've never heard before. If I ever
Yeah.
hear the term psychological essentialism, like, I'm sorry, what?
Wait, what was the other
Dude.
word she kept messing up on?
Well,
Oh my god.
Brad Pitt. There's Brad
No.
Pitt.
It
There
wasn't
was a
her.
lot.
It was some tortious or
Oh,
tortious. I don't remember.
tortuous interference
Yes, I was
instead of
like,
tortious
yeah.
interference. I was like, tortuous? Oh dear.
Yeah.
We are on the
While
wrong
I'm
page.
being petty, while we're in Pettyville, okay, I'm gonna go there for a second. Pettyville is revealing that it's a Mormon thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a Utah thing. I don't know. I'm still sizing it up. But it's wives, like WIVES, or
Mhm.
lives, LIVES, not wifes and not
Or lives.
lives.
Yep.
Okie doke. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, is that because of the polygamy thing? Wives, you know?
There's a lot of pronunciations that you hear in Mormon women. They have a particular cadence at
Yeah,
times.
I mean, nothing against them. I just don't,
Yeah,
I've
it's just
found every which way to critique this one. So I'm just, when I don't know, she attacks her nose sometimes. I'm like, what the hell is she doing? It looks like she's
Yes.
fighting her face.
And it was like, you keep wiping your nose on your hand and your
Yeah.
sheets, and can you not get a tissue? All right, whatever. That's your pain, not mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, honey, I'm not jealous, Tracy. I think that went by a little too fast. What the fuck am I jealous about? What? Because what? She's got my family. I mean, please make that make sense for me. Please. Yeah. I mean, I'm immature then.
It's the eyebrows, man.
Immature.
Your eyebrows are just not on fleek like hers.
Well, I
Get
admit
the
it.
Sharpies.
I
Let's go.
burned mine off. I scorched them off. Like they were very thin, but I still
Yep.
showed up. I just got to pencil them in a little bit still. So
Yeah.
I am here. I am releasing. So if you're jealous, I don't know. Don't project your feelings onto me, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You're welcome here, but don't come at me like that. That's not at all
Someone
true.
in chat mentioned my ethical approach, and I tried to be ethical 5 years ago. To me, being ethical was walking away, being quiet, not upsetting the apple cart, so to speak, so that to minimize the damage against the families and my friends and community. I thought that was taking the high road was the right thing to do, and I think it was. I'm still pretty sure I stand by that. But tonight, you know what? I am just mad. And if I
Yeah.
want to laugh at her stupid eyebrows, I'm going to laugh at her stupid eyebrows.
Mhm.
I am
Don't put
54
it
years
out
old.
there, boo.
I am too old to be that nice anymore.
I mean, it's just whatever. I mean, don't be a bully.
Right.
Don't exploit my family. Don't talk about jealous. Okay, she is literally turning herself into murder victims that she covers and claims to care about. That is some type of psychotic. Okay, I'm not a doctor, and neither is she. Yet she drops her husband's credentials, saying
All the
that
time. Yep.
he's not here and I can still diagnose. I'm like, no, neither one
No,
of you
you
can.
cannot. Right.
That's not ethical.
Yeah.
So whatever, they're burning their own woman down, and it sucks
Yep.
to watch, but it is what it is. And so again, they're a subcategory under the crime at heart, the victims at the heart of this matter.
Yep. And I think
The
people will
rest of it
start
is
to see
just
that
the
if they
rest is just
listen.
symptoms.
Sorry.
Yeah.
If they listen closer to what they're saying, like Dr. John, you and I talked earlier, how Dr. John admitted that Lauren's behavior was so terrible, but don't judge her by that. Judge her by her art instead. It doesn't matter how terrible she is privately. Look at her art. That's a big admission. That is a huge admission.
And an excuse, like, to allow her to continue on with the bad behavior. What do we do about the Cox family and everybody that, Melanie Gibb and all these people that enabled Lori and Chad to have so many victims in such little bit of time?
Can I ask you a question? You might not want to answer on camera, and that's perfectly fine. Just, I haven't got to talk to you for so long. What did you think of that Silver Linings podcast? You don't have to answer publicly if you don't, but I'm like, I bet we
I
felt
don't
the same
mind.
about that.
I don't mind it. It's again, I respect their belief system. However, I don't respect excusing it. I
Right.
don't respect their tone deafness also with this side of the family
Mhm.
who were the victim. It's like Tylee, we don't like, I'm not related to Lori that way. She was my
Right.
aunt by marriage, like her family she and two members of her family and maybe more. Okay. 2 to 4 ish, probably more, I would say, in my opinion, allegedly, waged war on my family.
Mhm.
They did the silent treatment. They turned the other way. They allowed her and Alex to they called Alex a fucking hero.
Yep.
Like, what? You don't have to see evidence. What are you talking about, freaks? Like, you don't show up to a gunfight or to a fist fight with a gun or a knife or more people. You don't do that. And like it's like they didn't even know, and we didn't even know that there was war being waged. You understand? So it's like, oh shit, okay. All right, we're doing weapons. Okay. Like you don't even know a war is being waged, and they're covertly like sneaking around and plotting and just creating chaos and
Yep.
confusion. And I think that's part of what helped them go on so long too. I think that had a big helping hand, just to make everybody confused or maybe drained. I don't know. I
Yeah.
believe Stacy Cope, when she wrote in that report
Yes.
or Steve Cope said that, she said her family was a psychological hornet's nest. And I mean, that couldn't be more accurate. I believe.
Mhm.
I mean, I met these people and they
Yeah.
think they're better than me. And they think they're better than you because they're
Yep.
the top 5% and we're not.
Yep.
And that's another problem going into this. But I just thought that, I saw Court TV when Adam Cox and John DeLynn. And I mean, I was like, oh, yeah,
Mhm.
because they went toe to toe. And I
Yep.
was proud of John DeLynn. It sucks to see that happen to somebody, a true believing person or Mormon, or in this case, Mormon, like be met with, uh, and how it amazes me how they compartmentalize, I believe, and say, "Oh, no, 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 that's Chad and Lori's just crazy little cult." And I'm like, "Are you high?" Because
Mhm.
this is like, no, but whatever, I mean, everybody has their own journey, and I respected them for that. But when they did the whole, we're going to shut our channel down to start, they created a AI conversations with dead killers or something,
Oh
where they
God.
would interview. Oh yeah, you didn't know about that?
No.
Yeah, and so it's basically AI, and they ask the dead killer, Alex, and then they were
No.
gonna make a show out of it, because, opportunity,
Oh
shameless
my
plug.
Lord. All
So
right.
let's say Charles Manson is resurrected. Isn't this kind of necromantic, a little bit necromancy?
It's something like
Yes.
that. It feels really bad.
Yeah.
That feels bad. Ugh.
It's like, and then how do they think this is a good idea for this side of the family? I understand you miss your nephew and you miss your brother. I can respect that, but can you just keep it over there?
Yep.
Like, can
Yep.
we not make some public and then make money off of it? And then like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
Well, see, I thought it was just as bad. I just didn't like the title. I was like, silver linings? There are silver linings to these deaths? Are you kidding me? There's not a silver lining situation. That really bothered me. I had no idea about the AI dead people thing. My
Oh yeah,
God. Oh,
that's what
that's
they left
scary.
with. Well,
Goodness.
so True Crime Sushi is like explain to people how True Crime use pics and words like mama and papa to create hate discords or something, maybe with your mom and Larry. I don't think people understand. I don't know about this. That's why I was like, I don't remember. I remember discords, but I really did not know how to maneuver around in them. There were a lot of platforms I was learning at that time, and I was like, I don't know.
I think it's more because we didn't have any of them in my Discord channel, and you weren't in there with them. I think it's
because in Kathy's. I want to say I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
I liked it, but I also had my mod who was the one that ended up dicking me over while I was sitting my aunt's murder trial, by the way. Just saying. And she would micro organize. Anyways, it was I was like, whatever, do whatever you got to do. I don't know. I'm just coming here and visiting, like,
yeah.
I'm not an organized person, obviously, or I'm just more, relaxed in that area.
Yep.
I don't know. I wish I was more.
Someone else in chat asked if I have a YouTube channel. I do, called Awen Rees. You can find it. It should come right up. But it's all from 5 years ago. I stopped doing YouTubes as a result of the harassment I received from Lauren Matthias and Lori Hellis. So
Yeah.
I quit
Do you
YouTube.
want to? How much can you elaborate on that?
I mean, I could
Without
give you
saying
all the
that-
details, but we'd be here for another 2 hours. Basically, they took information from me, even though it was not supposed to be made public, and they ran it public on their channel, even though that was a huge violation of a lot of things. They should not have done that. That was in regards to Lori Vallow's competency hearing. They also went on a public smear campaign saying that I worked for Mark Means and I was trying to kill or trying to help Lori Vallow and all kinds of absolute nonsense. And then there was a story about a person who had an audio recording of herself with Melanie Gibb, and that was released to me through several channels. And they started by saying I was making it up. It wasn't real. It wasn't true. There's no such recording, blah, blah, blah. And then when they knew there actually was a recording, then, oh, she got that illegally, blah, blah, blah. No, I did not. I got that from someone who we're not going to name right now because I don't know where we're standing on that person.
Okay.
But it did come to me. And then they vilified me for putting this audio public, which I didn't. I put little tiny snippets of it to protect the person's identity because she talked about a lot of her own personal childhood trauma. That didn't need to be public. This person was not in the case, right? That was just the person that Melanie had called. So I clipped all of her stuff out and put tiny little snippets. Someone stole that from my Discord, my private Discord server, and released it to one of the Facebook groups, and they put it all over the internet, which was horrifying because that person did not deserve that. But the woman who had it told me, yes, and I had the screenshots. They're all up on Reddit. Can I publish this? Yes, you can. Do you want to come on live and talk with me? Yes, I do, but I'm going on vacation. Maybe when I get back. Okay, great. Can I put it up in the meantime in little pieces? Yes, please do. And then even on the video, she thanked me for doing it. And then Matthias and Hellis tried to turn around like some kind of evildoer for violating this woman's privacy. And how could you do that to her? I'm like, she told me to. Here's the text right here. What are you talking about? And then later on, Lauren Matthias actually interviewed her and pretended like she was the one who had discovered it. I'm like, oh, nice lady. And that's just the beginnings of what happened. They were poisoning me to the family, telling them all kinds of horror stories about me that were not true.
All you. They were
Yep.
just peachy king. Yeah.
Yep. And I was like, I can't handle this. I just can't. I was not expecting people to behave that way. I thought adults would adult. I was shocked and stunned by it. I was blackmailed and told to shut up. I was not allowed to speak about them, or they would release everything. I'm like, but now 5 years later, I'm like, whatever. Like what Kresha told me to say, a very smart thing. Kresha's a very smart lady. She said, just say this. I said, whatever, bitches, and the bitches whatevered.
Whatever.
And that is exactly what they did.
That's
They
a meme
whatevered so hard.
Was awesome. that was the best meme ever. And
It
I
was
would love
great.
that on shirts. I said, whatever, bitches. And the bitches, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And Maury,
And
I don't care if you're not cool with me. I don't care. That has no power over me. But Matthias has been doing these things for many years. This is not a brand new thing. And that's all people need to take away is be careful before she does this to somebody else. That's all. I just want that to stop.
Yeah. It would be nice to stop excusing the bad behavior. And I'm not trying to make any excuses for how I respond. Sometimes I respond and it's ignorant and not the best way. I think we can say we all do that, but I'm not excusing, yeah. But I mean, this isn't like a popularity contest. It's not for me. It's not like this is my family, and Lauren and Lori fucked with my family. And I mean those words. She fucked with my family. They fucked with my family, and they've continued to fuck with my family. And they're okay with that.
Yeah.
As long as it serves and suits them to whatever means.
And makes them money, gets them clicks.
They've never come clean. They've never apologized. In fact, they just continue on to fuck my family. And I don't know what it is, but then they get praised for fucking my family. Do you understand? So it's like I'm a little pissed off.
Right.
And I've had to hold it in. And
was
I'm
she
not
making $20,000 a month on YouTube?
I think it was just I need to know how to read that. I think
I don't know how much she's making. She's making a lot of money.
Was kind of teach me the other night, and I was like, I don't know. I don't even read my own stuff, my analytics. I still don't get it, but and Gigi, Gigi she's so sweet. I don't understand that. That
I never
tells
got
you
to meet
something
Gigi.
about the bullies, okay? That tells you everything you need to know about the bullies because Gigi stays out of everybody's damn way, okay? Like, I'm just like, what? And I feel bad because she's taken the moral high road.
Yeah.
She has.
It's not easy.
But it's okay for what? The bullies to continue to harm? To demonize? To dehumanize? Just like Lori? Just like Chad? Get out of here, I'm good. Like, that's why we're here. And Lori and Lauren are just symptoms of why we're really even here. And so they wreak havoc in this community. At least that's been my experience.
Yep.
Yours may be different, and I respect that, but I'm just asking, will you please respect mine and, our families? Can we just like be without being judged on the same level? It's like, it's not the same. It's not the same. I don't care if you're Lauren trying to reincarnate into the victims, okay? That's disgusting. She's disgusting for that. That her whole brand it stands on that. I want to say John said it Friday night. Now I got to go look for it. That's me. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I never got to meet Gigi. She had I think she started her channel right about the time I was shutting mine down. So we never crossed paths, unfortunately. But I'm sad that she's gone through this too.
Yeah,
it's just not fair.
It is not fair because I read a statement that Gigi allegedly wrote, and it was from Everyday with Jay, her channel, where she shared it. I mean, she showed the screen, everything, and she actually has a little video about it. I might go scoop up, but it sounds like Lauren went even after someone else's livelihood. Yeah. So it's okay for her to go and wreak havoc and raise hell and cause chaos and disdain and discord and division, but it's not okay to hold her accountable. That's it. Right. That's, oh my God, God forbid she's held accountable. She's not, she's not a her. Saint. Yeah.
Right.
Why?
I'm just going to interject for 1 second.
Got away with it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I don't want to do this because I don't like to address trolls. But this K-Lou person, K-Lou, What are you talking about? I didn't say the words put hands on someone. I don't
I
even
think
know what
it's
that
about
means.
me.
I think that's a kid thing. Young
I
people
think
say
it's
that. I don't say
me.
that.
I think it's me.
Oh, did you say that?
And I said, I want to say,
What does it
I
mean?
said that I want to, it's a joke. I mean, it's a joke. Cause I don't know if you counted the times that I was like, no, Lauren, I'm not, it's not a threat. This is just me talking shit, like,
Right.
don't get full of yourself. We know how that tends to be. But I was like, it's like, I'm gonna say it like this so it doesn't get twisted. But come here, let me put my hands around your wait, I want to hug your throat with my hands, or I don't know. Anyways, it's something stupid. Yeah, I
I
can't
see.
remember it, but
So
whatever.
it means to physically put your hands where
But
someone might not want them.
to answer your question, no physical threat. So you can calm down. Okay. Okay. I'm Crushy K. Okay.
We're too old for
Okay.
that, man. We don't do that stuff. We
Yeah.
don't do physical fights. That's crazy.
It was aggravating. Good Lord.
It is. It is.
It's
And now
just a lot
somebody
of
did ask a
nitpicking.
really good question in chat.
Mhm.
They asked if I thought maybe Lori Hellis had been influenced by Lord Matthias.
That is a good question.
I
We
have
haven't
thought that because Lori Hellis and I were fine. We were good. We were talking every day and on the lives until she met Lord Matthias. It's quite
Wow.
possible that Lord Matthias twisted Lori Hellis's brain up, and maybe Lori Hellis and I need to have a talk.
Or
You
maybe
know?
lit the inner bitch or something. I don't know.
Maybe. Yep.
A streak
Yep.
of like maybe there's some jealousy there. I don't
Yep.
know. It's a good question.
It's
But I mean,
definitely
I
a question
also
we're thinking about.
there's like a competitiveness with Mormon women for sure that
Hmm
I've observed. And I mean, that's kind of driven by, the culture. And I see that in Lauren. And I mean,
Yep.
I actually admire that to a degree. And then it becomes not admirable at all. It
Yeah.
becomes concerning. And like I've noticed that with me, like if I've scheduled something and they maybe didn't schedule yet, and then they're like, oh, I gotta do it, and I gotta just override her. I mean, of course, these are my own thoughts that I'm projecting, but I'm just saying that's what it kind of looks like sometimes. I'm just like, what is she? Okay, thank you.
hmm
It's like she doesn't believe in the whole the sun comes up
Nope.
every morning
And
for
that's the
everybody.
problem with them. Up is down, in is out, hot is cold.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know which way you're coming with them because everything is backwards. It's really
Inverted
weird.
is
Yep.
the best
Yep.
descriptor for me. Yeah, and like Lori and Chad were projecting on their own victims backwards, inverted. Lori's still saying that they're going to separate the wheat from the tares. I mean, she sent a message to Colby saying
hmm
that very thing that she did. Like she
hmm
did, but she's projecting that it's happening to her. And we're like, what? Like I'm saying I'm like, what is what? Ruby
Yeah.
Frankie, same thing. Pain is love.
Oh
Love
God.
is
Yep.
abuse. Same thing with the
And
Hamblin case.
and certainly with the research that I was doing into the wider cult, the Melanie Gibbs, the David Warwicks, the Jason Mouse, all of that whole group,
Mhm.
and then you get the Ruby Frankie stuff. It's like this stuff
Yeah.
is still happening,
It's
but
rampant.
we tried to talk about it. You and I both tried to bring it out. Nobody
Got
wants
shut
to hear
down.
this stuff. They don't want to
No,
hear
that's
it.
what everybody like Lauren wouldn't even address this as a cult.
Mm-hmm.
She would not even like identify it as a cult. And I was still trying to figure out what a cult even meant and why the news stations were using it in their headlines and the salaciousness of it. And I'm just like, oh, so you're not convicting a cult. You're not going to arrest and charge and hold accountable a cult, but you're going to use it. And so, hell, I got to use it too because the keyword search optimization, it sucks. It sucks. If I use pictures of the victims, which I mean, that's just further exploiting them, really. There's different ways to look at it, right? There's really
Right.
no right way. You got to make a lot of decisions, and so they're going to be using really colorful or loud or bold thumbnails of the perps. That's where
Yep.
everybody clicks. It's the weirdest thing. If I use the
Mhm.
victims' names in the title,
They don't. Yep.
chirp. I mean, it's like crickets. It's inverted as well, and that kind of brings me back to CrimeCon.
Mm.
And I
I'm
mean, I was
glad I
saying
never
it.
went to CrimeCon. I'm so glad I didn't
Me,
go.
me too. And I mean, I've learned how I believe that they have found a way to further victimize people like my parents.
Mm,
They were invited to CrimeCon. Colby was invited to CrimeCon. Summer was invited to CrimeCon.
yeah.
But yet when I found out that it was Mormon owned, I was like, nope, ain't putting my money there. Don't want a effing thing to do with it.
Yep.
And then you find out, Lauren, and this is just my conjecture. Lauren got an award. I don't know what it is because I didn't go check because I don't really care. It's the principle that it appears, because I followed her reporting on the Richard Allen, Delphi case. And I'm not trying to start a war. I'm just saying what it looks like from right here.
Yeah.
And this is coming from somebody who my aunt is a freaking murderer. Okay. I'm just saying, I understand anyways, I'm just saying that I followed Lauren's reporting on it. Nobody else. I didn't really follow it before then because I couldn't. I didn't have the brain capacity or emotional capacity. And then I started to kind of notice when things were dying down, with the cases and everything on our end, that Lauren was reporting on it. And then I was like, oh my God, I think these are like these crimes, these girls, the way they were handled and treated and the whole thing around it, all the people, the investigation, alleged investigation, it looks so botched and so one-sided and just, oh, it got burned and
Mhm.
we found this in the bottom of the filing cabinet. I'm like, oh, really? Wow. It's just is so convenient kind of and narrative fitting. You can paint things a different way just depending on who the storyteller is.
Yep.
I mean, Lauren had us believing that she was a victim. Like,
For
I
about
mean, some of us
15
who just
minutes.
want to, yeah, who want to
Yeah.
lend credibility to somebody who's, who's acting like they are, in turmoil and in pain and crying and, I mean, anyways, I want to believe victims and I don't want to let people like that ruin it for victims because that's kind
Yep.
of what happened. And I've seen that a lot in the ritual abuse area or arena. And it's pretty disgusting because when people say, oh, they just want attention. They're just jealous. They just want money. And I'm like, okay, what are you even saying right now?
Yeah. Well, Lauren,
I
if
guess
you're
we'll ask
listening,
for it.
if you want money and you want lots of followers and you want fame, just be nice. You can win as many or more friends by being nice instead of being manipulative and harmful. Why don't you try that for change?
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
might, it might work. It could work for you. It could.
If she would have just said, hey, I'm sorry. I've had a lot of lapse in my judgment. I don't know, whatever. I'm under a lot of stress. Anything. My dog ate it. Would have
Yep.
worked probably way better than any of this. And it would have been private.
Yep.
And, because I
We can
believe that
all
we hold to our
forgive
word.
somebody getting mad and spouting off in a private text conversation.
Yeah.
I think everybody can relate to that. But when it's systemic and patterned and constantly repetitive over at least 5 years that we know of, and then you take it on a live stream like that, that's not the same thing. That's not having a bad day.
Especially when
That
you
is
claim to be
not.
victim oriented. That
Yep.
is a lie.
Yep.
That is not defamation. That is a lie. That's my experience and is a lie.
Mhm.
That's misrepresenting your brand
Yep.
right now, for sure. That is my opinion. And anyways, this is Lauren eating mom's spaghetti. I mean, mom's potato salad. And if you know, you know. I mean, it's just a cinema picture. That's all.
I'm so sad I never got gumbo. Kay always said she was going to make me a pot of gumbo. I never got
Yeah,
gumbo.
it's so good.
Oh,
I
well.
miss it.
I bet it is. I bet it's the best.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
but I
just
need to go to bed because
well,
I'm
I
an
appreciate you
old
coming
person now.
on, like hashing this out. I mean, if you remember more or whatever. I don't know, because it's a
Yeah,
lot to
it's
cover.
all flooding back to me. It's still only been a couple days since I've been wrestling with it, and I know there's more. And I'm still watching everything. I'm watching everything I can find on what's going on because this is
Yeah.
crazy. But I'm so glad that you're okay. You're okay. You're watching it too, and it's certainly forefront on your mind. But you seem really good to me, Crusher. You seem strong and focused, and I'm so happy. And if you're never okay, you always call me. You know that.
Oh, I
You know
appreciate
that.
that. I appreciate you being human. I can, I can
That's all we got.
identify with somebody just being themselves, just being real
Yeah.
and human. Like I can get around that. I cannot get around somebody smiling in my face and then stabbing me in the back. I cannot. I
Yep.
don't,
It's
it's
not okay.
anyway, I appreciate you coming on here because that also shows that you a big girl. No, I'm just saying it shows that you're the bigger person. I respect you a lot more. I mean,
think
again, we all make choices. We all make the best, right? Or we wouldn't
Yep.
have jails and courts and what is it? Moral crusades. Okay.
Yeah, moral
We
crusades.
wouldn't have that.
Yep.
We
Well, it
wouldn't
was
have the
one
court of
thing,
public
5
opinion.
years ago when they were hurting me to run away, but seeing what they've done over the last 5 years and that it's still hurting you and your mom and your dad and all these people, I'm like, no, now I'm mad. Now I'm going to stand up. And if I have to go all over yelling about it, I'm gonna, because this
Yeah.
stops now. It stops.
Yeah, it's got to. It's got
Yep.
to. And that's by not being silenced by bullies.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm I'm yelling at myself, because it's like, it just, I don't know, you become paralyzed, I
Yeah,
did.
you
I
do.
became kind of like, what do I do? I don't know the right way to move. My parents like them.
Yep.
That's what I said in that live stream that night.
You were
I'm
in
like,
a rock
well,
and a hard place. What were you supposed to do?
yeah. And I was like, okay, well, me and Lauren disagree on a lot of things, but she's been good to my parents. At least I thought. Okay.
Mhm.
And that turned out not to be true. So, I mean, what does that say for
Yep.
Lauren? What does that say about Lauren?
That says more than it
Who
says
knew
about
that?
us. Yep.
Like I
Mhm.
put my shit to the side to
Yep.
just, in that and Janice. Okay. Like, and so that was kind of intertwined, so I was kind of rehashing how she dressed up as Lori on Halloween in an
Oh God,
orange
that was
jumpsuit.
awful.
And then she uploaded the damn pictures. She looked just like Lori, and she really liked to brag about that, And then yeah, she asked me to
Yeah.
take her picture down because I kind of incorporated it into my video. I'm not a damn videographer. This is not what I do. I was just kind of slapping things together. Good God, it was horrible back then, my videos, but I mean, just the audacity, like hindsight, when she asked me, like, why do you have my picture up? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to step on anybody's toes. And I had I known what I know now, that you can incorporate things as long as you add to the artistic value of it or whatever, technical shit. And, but when she was like, and this is Janice I'm talking about, when she
Right.
Facebook me, message instant, whatever, Facebook Messenger. And she was like, oh my God, why'd you use my picture? And I was like, I'm so sorry. And, I told her what all I was going to have to do to remove it. And she was like, oh, it's okay. And she said that I do look a lot like her though. And I was
Oh.
like, okay. And then so I deleted my video, re-uploaded it into my editing app, re-edited it, took it out, put it back up on the damn YouTube. And I'm just like, oh my God. Probably years later, I was like, I fucking apologized to her.
Yeah.
And she took it. She she didn't apologize.
Well,
And
up
that
is down.
says so much, man. That says so much. So that's where I was. And then she was a mod and a BFF with Annie. So it was just like, oh, I mean,
Mhm.
she's got to be victim centric or, family members. Like, come on now. Like,
Yep.
it just, anyways, it just bad taste in my mouth, but whatever.
I
And the
don't
bitches,
blame you.
whatever.
But you have
I
a
mean,
great community here. I have had a great time reading chat tonight.
they're
You have a
wonderful.
lot of people here who are absolutely pulling for you 100%.
They're
And I
great.
hope that feels good. I hope you can let yourself feel that and trust it. Because it's hard
Yeah,
when things like this to trust anything like that.
I
But
don't.
I
I
know,
mean,
I know.
I try to be the same, right?
Yep.
I try not to, like, I don't like get my thistle in a whatever. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I don't get all bent out of shape. Like, I don't worry about things I've said because I'm pretty much the same unless
Yeah.
I'm pissed off. Sometimes I don't know what I'm saying, but a hot mic moment, I'm like, and
That's
I'm
just me.
sorry.
I would have said that
You might
anyway.
hear
Yep.
me cuss.
Yep.
Or say some really inappropriate things. But I mean, nothing demeaning or not that I know of. If so, I used to be a drinker. So there's that part.
Mm,
But I don't know. There's just still no excuse for it. And
But
whether it was me or anybody else.
you have a
Thank you, Dad.
great chat here. Your community is lovely. And it was really nice. I saw a lot of names I remember from 5 years ago. That was wonderful. And thank you all for the warm welcome. I needed that because, I've been trying to keep all this mental health stuff under wraps too the last week. It's
Thank
been rough.
you.
So it was really good to be here,
Yeah.
Crush. I'm so
I'm glad
glad
you
to
can.
talk to you again. I've missed you so much. So this is awesome.
Thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you just for being an exception to the rule. Okay. It does exist. And it's it's not it's not as painful, just facing things and just I don't know. I know
Yep.
it's scary. I know it can be, but I think with that, what's happening over there on the other side of the YouTube is really, it's like horrible. It's like you can't look away from it. It's like, oh my God, it's like a slow burn.
Yep. I don't want to use
And
their own phrase, but it's dark.
yeah,
It's
burn,
just dark.
burning that
So,
fucking false kingdom down to the
mhm.
ground or whatever it is.
Yep, definitely.
Anyways,
All right, I
I'm
gotta
acting
go
like
to
one
bed.
now.
But
Well, good
we'll
night.
definitely
Sleep
stay in
good.
touch. You know, back in the day, you would do middle of the night phone calls. You're free to do that whenever you need to.
Thank you. Your portal's still open. All right.
Yeah, we got that portal. We got this. We got
Yeah.
this.
Thank you, Awen. You're welcome anytime.
Okay, thank you for having me. Good night, everyone, and take care of Crusher because she's the best you're gonna find.
Yeah,
Right. I
allegedly.
forget how to leave StreamYard. It's been 5 years.
I can do it. I know it's weird when you're a guest. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, bite. No.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I look like hell. Every time I turn my camera off, I don't know. It looks like I was like doing headstand on my face. I don't know what it is. Anyways, I want to get to these, but also really quickly. Oh my god, it's been 4 hours. I feel like you know who. Let me turn this back off so I can feel comfortable.
Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? This is Donna. I'm going to, what I'm going to do is there's more to this video because Krisha talked for a while after Awen left, and she also gave her statement. And so I'm going to let it play out. There's more to it. The last maybe 6 minutes was Krisha's statement, which we'll play again, but most of it is something that you haven't heard. It is some things that Krisha looked up and found in between the time that she had in this video that were struck down, things that she had been researching. So I'll start this up again.
Okay. So glad that Awen joined us. I'm so glad Mom did too. And Uncle Jerry showed up, Colby, Kelsey, and I mean, just everybody that has, creators and their chatter, people that have been in chats have been so welcoming and supportive of me, period, so I just want to, I feel like I've been like, I'm not invisible. Okay. Is what I feel like. And I really appreciate you guys just showing up, and just being here. It means a lot. Anyways, all right, let me just hold it together. I wanted to, what am I doing? All right, hold on. I don't know hold on, let me grab this real quick. And I'm just gonna kind of read from it because I'd put it together. All right. Hold on just 1 second. So I know I should have probably done this in the beginning, but again, couldn't slow my chat down. What a wild night. Okay. Lots of learning curves. And I appreciate my mods too for being here. Just always, they're always here and supportive and helpful and just that's my girls. That's my people. But so some of the bios of the accused stalker, based only on the transcript. So I fed a transcript, right? And it says provided Christina is the quote unquote the stalker, not the alleged stalker, nothing like that. Okay. It's just straight up, she named her that. And then everybody started calling Christina, who has never been convicted of being a stalker or any other crime involving any of this stuff with Lauren. She called her a stalker, I want to say over 400 times just in that live stream. And I've heard it even in subsequent ones, like the one from Friday with Dr. John and Lauren. I think it's safe to say, and I actually explored out onto TikTok earlier today and looked at some of the videos myself. And I was just like, you can basically frame anything you want to, just however you want to present that. You throw some tears in there, you throw like you're scared. I mean, what would it psychologically do to a person if you, like, let's say Lauren would show up in chat right now. What if thank you. What if when Lauren shows up, we all say, "Oh my God, I'm scared. I feel threatened. I feel threatened. Oh my God, stop." Like stranger danger, like all the bells and like the way she acted, the way she showed us her own quote unquote evidence of how she was like, "I feel threatened." I mean, and I'm just like, what? Like, can you imagine the psychological, if you were an innocent person and she did that to you or anybody did that to you, what is that? I've not seen that before. Maybe never. I don't know. I don't know if I've paid attention to it. Before they look for eyeballs. What is that? Educate me. I don't know what the eyeball thing is. I know the eyebrows. You feel uncomfortable? Why is that? Well, get comfortable. Yeah, that's usually what I do is I don't entertain any, that's what I've done. Like I've just kind of put my head down and just overlooked a whole lot of things about Lauren. Trust me, I've watched all of her content or that was relevant to my family's case or, um, uh, I mean, because I feel like I wanted to not be, shut off this person or this creator. I don't do the cancel culture. I did unsubscribe, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to go and, educate myself and see what's going on. Basically there's two authorities basically in this case, in my opinion. And that was Nate East Idaho News, and that was Lauren, Hidden True Crime. Let me know how you feel about that. I want to know how you feel about that. I want to know what you think. It just seemed, I mean, there's other big creators that of course, Gigi, you know, I mean, she put in a hell of a lot of work, and she stuck to the point, you know, she stuck to the facts of the case. Lauren did interviews with some of these people, these colorful people, I'll just say, that provided a lot of context. Nate, you know, he just, I still feel like, this is just me personally, I feel like Nate tended to whitewash it a little bit, quite a bit, and distance, a lot of distancing. But then again, they're entitled to their own opinion. But I've done research into, I followed the money basically, and it's interesting where it goes. But yeah, Justin Lum is really good. I appreciated for sure. Yeah, he's another authority voice, I guess you would say. And I don't mean that like totalitarian, you know, nothing like, oh my God, what I say goes. But basically, like or Annie too, you know, because if people watched her streams, you would see it around the web, you know, like, oh, Annie said this, you know, or not saying she didn't, I'm saying she just, that's where they got the information, because that's what happens here. And you know, we just kind of go around to people that we enjoy the content and how they present it. You know, I kind of visit everybody, you know, I do agree with that. I just like other people's perspectives, things I haven't thought of. And I'm like, oh, wow. You know, it blows it wide open for me. Oh, if I could stay on track. Okay. I don't have that. I don't possess that skill. Trust me, I've tried. It really sucks. Plus I have ADHD on top of that. And then all the other I'm not making excuses. But anyways, so going back over here, let's see. So Christina, the alleged stalker, I'm saying the alleged, but Lauren's portrayal, the quote unquote stalker, was an obsessive, dangerous stalker engaged in a months-long campaign of harassment, intimidation, and defamation. Lauren paints her as malicious, using oh my God, the brother sperm story, dishonest, questioning John's credentials, God forbid, relentless, 50 plus TikToks, and potentially physically threatening or violating the TRO at CrimeCon. She's the ringleader of a mob, basically. That's the gist of Lauren's take of Christina, which is interesting because she also, I guess, framed it, or I say framed it, presented it as if she were doing Christina a favor and protecting her by calling her a stalker. Did I get that right? And I may need to go check myself, because of course it's a 9-hour live, and it's like, you know, there's a lot of information in between those 2 points, but let me go look. I like to check. Excuse me. And then that whole we respond thing. Respond to what? Like, why respond? Did the 9 hours and the horrendous freaking Patreon episode after that, where you thanked your stalkers and then said they would have to ante up to the next tier, you know? I mean, what is this? Like, I really seriously, at one time, I was like, oh my God, she's just going in for the last money. You know, she is just getting her bag. She is just going in and just cheerleading. I mean, the girl's good. She's good at what she does, marketing, right? And she's also has bragged over the years, or, you know, she's prided herself on the fact that PR, you know, her PR experience that she claims she had. I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, it's just, it seemed like it was a well orchestrated, calculated, planned, scripted It's like it was just like it was setting the stage. She said, setting the stage. She said it a couple times and she said it. And oh my God, like I'm telling you, the second time and going back over it, I watched this creator named Toasty who did not, I'm sorry, Burnt Toast, who did not know Lauren, didn't know the case, didn't know the criminals, didn't know the families, didn't know the victims, didn't know anything about it. And I was like, oh, good. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is somebody who knows nothing about it. Anybody in this case, and I mean, I watched her go through part 1 and I had to wait a couple days for her to come out with part 2. And I was like, oh yeah, I love this girl's take on it. So go check out Burnt Toast if you can. Just give it a whirl. There's many people, they're creating content for other people. And I can't believe Lauren's not striking people. I'm telling you, like there were a few times, like I want to say when I was in Boise after trial one day for Lori's trial, I went back to my hotel and I had a live stream planned and I wasn't quite ready yet. So I threw on her interview with Sean Littleberg because it was going to be in the conversation that we were discussing that night. She showed up in my comments and I was like, oh, at first I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, hey, hi, hey, Lauren. And then after a while, you start realizing it's like, oh, she's here to be like, that's my shit. That's my interview. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I was picking up, what it felt like, because Lauren didn't visit my channel. If she did, she didn't say anything. Very few times. Very few times. I'm just not, I don't know. Anyways, I remember Joe Schmo, he would say, well, don't we have to get her permission? And I'm like, yeah. Hey, Lauren, we're using your shit. Okay. We're going to be commenting on it. Okay. What the hell? It's a little weird. Like even on YouTube, the rules don't seem to apply. Again, my experience, my theory there. Okay. Let me go to, what did she say? Oh my gosh. Oh, what did I just say? I was going to go look up and see if she said it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to skip on down. That's what I'm going to do. Y'all have heard all this other stuff. Hold on. I wrote a letter and I'm just going to say it. It's kind of like an impact statement, we'll just say. All right. Here we go. Lauren, let's be crystal clear. Your 9-hour pity party of a live stream wasn't a desperate cry for help. It was a masterclass in manipulation and a desperate preemptive strike against the truth you knew was coming. And while you were shedding those crocodile tears, or were they tearless, as some keenly observed, my family and I were reliving a genuine, unimaginable horror. You, with your theatrical vulnerability and performative martyrdom, dare to compare your quote-unquote whisper campaign and being labeled dark to the brutal murder of my uncle, Charles Vallow. Let that sink in. You equated online criticism to a man fighting for his life against a cult that ultimately extinguished it. The audacity is breathtaking, and the disrespect is unforgivable. You have made my life a living hell since mid-2021, and this public takedown is long overdue. While my family was navigating the darkest period imaginable, the murders of Charles, Tylee, and my only nephew, JJ, you were busy with your shunning campaigns, isolating me from my own flesh and blood, and you were okay with it. You engaged in mean girl tactics, talking God knows what kind of shit about me and my family behind our backs, all while publicly exploiting our tragedy for your own gain. Then, When we were no longer useful, you betrayed us. You are a leech, Lauren, feeding off the pain of others, and your 9-hour spectacle was just another feast. Your selective evidence, your cropped screenshots, your carefully curated narrative, it's all a flimsy facade. You use victims as props, invoking the names of JJ, Tylee, and Tammy, not out of genuine concern, but as strategic tools to bolster your own credibility and deflect from your own rotten behavior. My mother, Kay Woodcock, a woman who has endured unimaginable grief, becomes a shield for your ego, a name you drop to make it harder for anyone to believe you could ever speak ill of her. How dare you? The implication that our suffering is just another piece of content, another strategic asset for your brand, makes me sick to my stomach. We are not your content, Lauren. We are real people with real pain, and you have capitalized on every last drop of it. You fled the courtroom not because you feared for your safety, but because you feared accountability. You weaponized the legal system using a serious tool meant for protection as a prop in your personal drama. You sought a temporary order based on what appears to be a weak and misrepresented evidence, only to abandon it before scrutiny. That's so important right there. That's not seeking justice. That's playing a game. And the stakes for my family were life and death. Your complaints about the judge not closing the courtroom, how entitled can one person be? Yeah, she's quite the entitled one. The principles of open justice mean nothing to you when they interfere with your narrative. Let me tell you, the true crime community is seeing straight through you. Your judgment, integrity, and ethical conduct are in question. Your willingness to engage in such a public, protracted, and manipulative campaign is a massive red flag that is now impossible to ignore. Trust is shattered, not just for us, but for anyone who has witnessed this charade. And the monetization, Lauren, the frequent ads on your 8-hour or your 9-hour stream, the paid private Patreon stream where you allegedly laughed and thanked the stalker, that's not that's not just ethically questionable. It's morally reprehensible. You transformed genuine or genuinely performed distress into a product profiting from the very trauma you so carelessly co-opted. That, Lauren, is the ultimate betrayal. So here's your dose of karma, delivered publicly and with the disdain you've so richly earned. This isn't just for me and my family. It's for everyone you've wronged, everyone you've exploited, and everyone who has seen through your thin veneer of victimhood. The last impression you will leave is not one of a brave survivor, but of a calculated manipulator, a user, and a betrayer. The bill has arrived, Lauren. It's time for you to pay your dues. Consider yourself verbally stoned, publicly and I can't ever say that. Oh my gosh. Anyways, for all to witness. I don't know why I'm stuck on that right now. That was it. Anyways, I don't know. It felt good. It feels good to just put that into words. I don't know. Anyways, so earlier today, I'm gonna try and go through this quick, which I know, right? Crush to do anything quick. Let's see. Grab this. I visited. Type it in. And let me go to her community wall real quick, and then I'll switch the thing where you can see what I'm doing. Oh, okay. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Let me fix this real quick, because this will start to fill in some holes. It did for me, at least. And again, this is allegedly, just connection. So do your own research. Always do your own research. That's what I do here. I just kind of bring things, and that's what this community does. We bring things. But I ran across this earlier, and this is a true crime design. I like the work she does. She questions everything. I appreciate that. So she says, anyone who attends CrimeCon is highly suspect to me. Corrupt sycophants into some demonic shit, in my opinion. That's why they insist on meeting annually. And that makes sense to me. To mock the masses and continue harvesting loosh from their child sacrifices. Looking at you, Mike, Patty, and Stacy Chapin. These are not my opinions. I'm just repeating, I'm reading the thing. Next thing you know, I have something from Trisha telling me to, to stop spreading rumors or something. What did that mean anyways? So she wants me to like go and like just they say jump and I'm supposed to be like, how high? Like that's weird. That ain't right. Just saying. I'm glad I'm glad I'm like, no. No, there's a lot of things that there's things that I saw, that I was just like, didn't feel comfortable. Didn't feel right, like just on certain crimes that were discussed on the um on the platform or panel or whatever the hell on the channel, it was pretty one-sided. Not a, you know what I mean? Like you just know, I don't know, no possibilities. And I guess that's why some of these crimes stay unsolved, because some people don't allow free thought, or new thoughts that maybe don't jive with their own. I really don't know. I don't have all the answers, but this is interesting because Lauren got an award, from CrimeCon for the Delphi case. And so I don't know, my own thoughts. I was like, well, that's interesting because how do you open this? How do you get an award? How do you receive an award from the Delphi case, if you think the man is innocent? That got me questioning things. Like, she doesn't think he's innocent. But from her work, like following her, her note taking and everything, which I've seen some of you say in the chat that was not accurate. And so it's interesting to know. I'm sure it's not, not all the way. But that's interesting because a lot of people, like I followed Lawyer Lee on it too. So I did follow her. I like Lawyer Lee. But it was also hard to get information, which is another thing, another layer on top of this case. It makes it just so questionable, in my opinion. But I don't know. I just was thinking and I was like, well, how is she gonna, if Lauren were to actually think that Richard Allen was innocent, she probably would not have gotten nominated for this award. I don't know how it works over here. I'm sure they just print them up. I don't know. But like, okay. That makes me question everything. It makes me question her integrity. It makes me wonder if she does conform. Okay. Conform. You wouldn't conform, Lauren. So you changed the status of the relationship. And so you were evil. Whatever that shit was last night or Friday night with Dr. John. I was like, what is happening? Anyways, I don't know. I know that's a grandfather or something. I don't know who this lady is, but I thought I could open these damn things. I can't. I think that's her friend, Hendrix or whatever. And then this guy always throws up Illuminati signs. So there's that. I don't care for these people, but that's just me. I didn't follow the case like that. I don't even know who they were. Really, I knew their names. That was about it. If not, I learned them after the fact, but I don't know. And I guess this is that same guy, and this is the prosecutor, and I guess Hendrix and Lauren and Grayson. Nice mule. And I think this is Ethan Chapin's mom at CrimeCon. Okay. I can't stay silent anymore. I'm being stalked and bullied. Fear for my safety. I'm in danger, right? I just that's gotta. I feel bad for Christina in that sense, okay, but I don't. I'm not getting into the politics of it. I just think it's wrong to frame somebody who it appears looks like that's exactly what you did, in my opinion, allegedly, Lauren. Okay, so what kind of caught my attention was it was very odd to me. This is the comment that the Chapins even attended this. We know they don't want to talk about the crime, don't want the details, don't want to go to the hearing or sentencing, etc., but wanted to go to CrimeCon. And then, I mean, I don't know all this. I'm just kind of, this is where I always got a lot of context. When I was looking into the Mormonism stuff and all the little Mormon blogs, I would go down to the comments and kind of glean a lot more context through different views. Won't attend the trials or anything to do with justice for Ethan. And then this person says, I want to say I've seen this person before. I was at CrimeCon and attended her discussion. Turns out it was a 1-hour infomercial for Othram. That caught my attention. I was like, what? The Chapins are paid employees for sure. And it was a complete disappointment. And I mean, this is like pinging for me because I'd saw on Every Day with Jay, her live stream where she shared, and I'll show you in just a minute, where just want to make money from their son's horrific death. They also have a clothing line. I was like, whoa, wow, I'm speechless. Okay. One of the drug cartels up there had a clothing line too to help launder their money. I don't know. I've never heard about a drug cartel up there. So interesting. The Creepins, IGG, I don't even know what that means, is to be used when all investigative leads have been followed and exhausted. 6 weeks hardly meets the criteria. This whole case stinks. I know, right? It's so weird. That's how you know this event isn't anything good. And I mean, I was already kind of feeling that, like from observing it all these years, my parents being invited and going, they look like they had a good time, but I'll get there and tell you what I believe is going on. Too bad you could not ask any questions like, why do you think Ellie did not provide your lab with the other unknown male DNA found on sheath mixed with victim's blood, as well as unknown male blood DNA found on a handrail and glove? I wonder if that's the same glove that Chris, what's his face, went and found, which is sus. Chris, whatever his name is, I forget it. And by the way, why are you saying you found Brian when court docs state the FBI found Brian and not you? So apparently people are having lots of questions that I don't really know. Okay, so don't twist me in this. Okay, I'm just here I'm mining information basically. Okay. Too bad. Okay, I already said that. Oh wow. Okay. Yes, but CrimeCon is fun and they get to dress up as their favorite horror movie characters and serial killers. I heard a rumor that Hunter Johnson, I don't know who that is going dressed up as Buffalo Bill next year. Can you imagine? Yes, you have gotten her to sign the back of a free Brian t-shirt. It would have been a legendary troll. Anyways, trying to get to where I was. I'm probably starting a riot in the chat, but y'all, come on. Calling you a VIP gives your brain a hit. I've been there. I got escorted into the White House past all the tourists for a guided tour by a friend of a friend who worked there for my 40th birthday. I can see how it appeals, being called special, etc. Oh my God, I understand liking a movie character or a character, but all this violence and unalivings they represent in all these violent movies, people carry things too far than acting out the scenes, allegedly. I didn't even get this far. It says, Lauren, this is somebody's opinion right here. I'm reading. Lauren from HTC is a huge clout chaser. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Anyways, wait a second. I just went to her Facebook page, Stacy Chapin. They are good friends with Othram, the DNA company responsible for the sheath. That is absolutely insane to me. I could be totally way behind everybody else who put this together a long time ago. I'm just realized that, just saying. Don't forget John Ramsey. He likes to go there and smile with his duper's delight. Annie Elise rubbed me wrong. It's all to make money. It's true crime. Fake. Chapins are fully aware of what happened. I just can't get the 4:29 a.m. arrival of the triplets black Ford SUV out of my head. They were paid with scholarships. I do remember that. Memberships and Othram sponsorship. And I'm like, whoa. Okay, it's getting deep. I wish I did pull them, but I don't remember. Very odd, all laughing and smiling at a freaking fandom event and collecting donations and sponsorships based on your children being murdered. None of that ever looked normal to me. Follow your gut. What is Lauren saying about stalking? Not giving her any of my time. Oh, bless you. It's a con and tells you all you need to know. Write some fiction, call it fiction, make bank. Exactly. Everybody would be like, oh my God, like you invented sliced bread. Okay. 100% agree. It's the same platform design used in daytime circuses like Springer, Murray, Dr. Phil, and the rest of the clowns. Profiteers of misery. No matter how sincerely they claim something is horrible or sad, they are aware of the exploitation. They would be angry somehow, whatever. All right. So it just kind of, I want to say there was another comment or something, but where is it at? I'm looking. Okay, here we go. Okay, you missed a ton then, and this is sparing off of Stacy Chapin. They're good friends with Othram, okay, DNA company for the sheath, okay, and for web sleuths. Anyways, you've missed a ton then. SC, so that's Chapin, right? Stacy Chapin, I guess, personally knows the couple who runs Othram, and I'm like, what a coinky dink. And thank them for complete closure, and that's in quotes, on the case. Yep, welcome to our side. I get that. Aren't they investors in the company? And I was like, shut up. They OFC, I don't know what that means. They are. Oh, I don't know. I hope Ethan forgives her for his own soul. I heard it can leave past ones stuck, but I believe he will so he can free himself. I have always been on the side of his innocence. I honestly can't believe I missed this very crucial tie between Ethan's family and this lab. It's blowing my mind. I guess that's why they stay out of the media / spotlight. You don't hear much about them or Ethan. It's all pointed towards Maddie and Kaylee. So those of you who know, let me know. Let us know. It definitely makes one's stomach turn once you hear the Chapin family are in close, I guess, ties with Othram. Her and the head of that place became BFFs, and that's what assures Stacy they had the right guy. That is? Okay, just one family member? Anyways, these families seem to not be able to look at any of this objectively, and it's very worrisome. That is very worrisome. Like, it freaks me out. I mean, because my own family, right? There were times, when my mom saw it one way and I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. Okay. Like, I get it. Everybody has to process things. However, I thought I knew everything about this guy. Okay, I said that. I thought I knew everything that was out about this case. I followed since the very beginning, but knowing his sibling, yeah, I already said that. Check out Birdie's channel a few months ago. Devil's Advocate went to CrimeCon and told us on Birdie's nightly live program what he saw. It's creepy AF. Palantir. Oh shit. Oh no, I didn't read this part. Now I'm really, I'm concerned. Bad. Oh, yep. That aligns in the NWO movement. We're right on task. Okay. We're in the right place at the right time with this group. So they say Palantir is part of Othram and Peter Thiel is really behind it, allegedly. He's part of the NWO movement, pushing the B system into our everyday lives. Pre-crime is the end game, aka Minority Report. I get really bad vibes from Chapin family and the G family. My opinion only, but Please check it out. It was a good show. All right, don't forget John Ramsey. He likes to go there with his duper's delight. Okay. So I was like, okay, now my interest, it's peaked. You know, I remember what Jay is. I'll never say it right. I'm sorry. But where's it at? I had it pulled up earlier. Right here, maybe. I must have jumped off of it. Let me grab it. I'm trying not to use one I might use in a minute. So, history. Okay. Thank y'all for hanging. Sorry, it's a long live. I don't mean to do that. Everybody's been doing long lives lately, and I mean, it's exhausting. It really is. Let's see. Go to Every Day with Jay. Every Day with Jay. La, 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 la. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to remember your thumbnail. Oh yeah, I remember it now. Okay, here we go. What's she hiding? Okay. So it's towards the end here. And okay. I'll do that. Let me pull the transcript. Maybe it'll help me get to it. I'm sure. Hear me.
The way this ends is
You apologize. Okay. Oh, I love this comment. Free speech by Pearl Strand. Free speech allows you to talk this shit, John. I was like, good one. Burn, right? Okay, let me push play.
Wait, hold on. I got to see that again.
so the way this ends, and I don't know the final ending, but the way this story ends, the way this thought experiment ends, is that Victoria's, she wakes up one morning in her bed.
Of web sleuths, no longer the owner because
Hold
Patricia
on,
Griffith
Jay,
summarized.
hush. I'm just picking. Okay, let me go back to here. Because I was like, oh shit. So thank you for providing this. Yeah, I thank you.
Personal safety protection. The evidence clearly establishes that respondent has engaged in a sustained campaign of harassment through multiple social media platforms.
Her head's going
This is not
Katie, if you want to hear this, I read it in the very beginning when I went over the documents before we started playing this mess. So that's
my favorite, Jay, was when someone came in and said, oh, I just got off work. What did I miss? Can you start at the beginning? And I was like, oh my God. And they're like, I'm just kidding. I was like, that's awesome. That's my kind of people.
that's why I'm playing it so fast, because I already fucking read it.
protected public discourse. It is targeted harassment using an ex-friend as a thin veil for a personal vendetta. The First Amendment protects robust public debate. It does not protect weaponizing social media platforms to conduct harassment campaigns about individuals to dozens of posts over months. The evidence before this court paints a disturbing picture of calculated sustained harassment that has driven a professional journalist and mother to contemplate respondent's creation of a counsel to expose her, quote, ex-friend, her recruitment of others to join this campaign, her physical stalking across state lines, her bras in violation of this court's injunction demonstrate conduct that no reasonable interpretation of law would protect, except provo courts.
Well, we don't.
Patricia Griffith summarized it best. Quote, criticism of someone's work.
This is why I fucking love you, Body. I looked into it ages ago because of his weird Richard Allen comments about his daughter.
That's wrong.
This is why I fucking love you.
I do too, and I don't even know you.
This is where she's reading now. He's reading Trisha Griffith's declaration. I read all this in the beginning.
Ride or die, ride or die.
But setting up to destroy persons to incite fear or to threaten their livelihood is reprehensible, harmful, and flat out wrong.
Thank you, Trisha Griffith.
Thank you, Trisha.
Oh, thank you, Moral.
The court must reject.
Oh, thank you, Trisha Griffith, manager of Web Sleuths. No longer the owner, because you know what? I got a huge bing bong. Bing bong. You want to talk about Trisha Griffith in Web Sleuths? Someone sent me the LLC, which is now located in the state, which is in the state of Texas, and is under the name of David Middleman, who is also the owner of Othram Labs.
Wow.
So there you have it, folks. You heard it first because she can't tell you the truth. Bing bong. Othram Labs. David Middleman of Othram Labs owns Web Sleuths.
The respondent's attempt to weaponize the First Amendment as a shield for what multiple witnesses, including forensic psychologists, have identified as dangerous stalking behavior with, quote, clear antisocial traits that significantly increase the risk of harmful behavior in the future. We talked about.
Yes, she is the original founder, but that's why she calls herself a manager now, because he bought it.
Interesting. I mean, just saying. She's not going to tell you. I'm glad you did.
For those on the side of free speech at any cost, that's what our attorney said. I want to end with.
Well, your attorney sucks. All four of them.
Is it this book under here?
No,
It's
the,
Mittelman
oh, here it is.
with
I
a
got it.
T. Mittelman. David
All right, here we are. How long has
Mittelman.
this been going on?
Not 9 hours. What,
Oh,
how many? 4 hours.
4 hours. All right. I thought it would be
I'll
around
show
3, but
it.
we far exceeded that. 4 hours. So think about
It's
that. I'm less
public
than half of your
record.
epic marathon.
Yeah.
I'm looking
I
for
want to go back to this idea of
other
a
one.
moral crusade and how important that was for this campaign. And I want to talk a little bit about, so one of the things I've been doing is revisiting the Salem witch trials, the historical record, and also Arthur Noah's interpretation in the Crucible.
Oh, I'd get tired of them talking. Allegedly. No, I would.
I think there's
think
no doubt that the Salem witch trials were a moral crusade because they were obviously, the community was engaged in.
Guess where Joseph Smith's lineage really leads? I really do follow people who deep dive this shit. Okay. Find out that he is all into black magic, practicing black magic, like the Lesser Keys of Solomon, that type shit, like Aleister Crowley stuff. They were even friends. Turns out, and his lineage traces back to the Salem witch effing trials. So if you're gonna be a witch, bitch, ride a broom, okay? At least so we can identify you and save some parking spaces. Just throwing that in there. But moral crusade. I got so sick of moral crusade. Okay, what did you get sick of? Anybody?
In the smear campaign against
I wish it
specific
was a smear
individuals that they
campaign.
deemed to be witches. Of course, there were no such thing as witches. It was a moral
Oh,
crusade
okay.
that
Summing
was
it up
based
now.
in the
Gotcha.
puritanical, religious, and spiritual worldview
Got
of the
mad.
community. So the basic idea was that
She's kind of LDS.
if you find
She's half-
witches
she's
that don't
if
exist,
not, she's an apologetic.
that you purge them, you eliminate them, right? And that's the same thing we saw in Daybell, by the way.
Yeah, he just said Lauren Stalker for
The
sure.
people,
You
they
heard
called
it.
themselves
The 7 gatherers.
Seven
Yes,
Gatherers, right?
yes.
Which, not ironically, is the same label that this group uses to describe themselves.
Do they use that label to describe themselves? Besides, the 7 gatherers. What did Lauren think of it and then pass it along and then frame them on it? That seems more like it. But oh my God, what was I going to say? Anyways, then that happened. Here we go, the Massachusetts thing. And then when she did the devil horn thing, I was like, what is she doing right now? Like, stop making it so easy and so weird. And I mean, flaunt them if you got it, I guess. Like, whatever. I tuck the crazy in. She can't no more. Like, her mask slipped for me. It's off. Like, she ain't even trying. And the way she look, I have a hard time making eye contact with the camera. It bothers me because I feel like, and I know this is the whole point. I'm also not, I didn't go to school to be a fucking journalist. Okay. So there's that. I was kind of pushed in, or, this is the way I kind of chose to cut out my little corner, and speak my little mind over here. I never feel comfortable looking into the camera. I don't know if it's because of the people I felt that were following, that could have made up Lori and Chad's clique. Where's this cult? They're saying it's a cult everywhere just from everywhere. They're calling it the Doomsday Cult Mom. And I'm looking for evidence of a cult. And I see a bigger, gigantic, very wealthy cult, but I don't, I'm like, what is that? Them calling it a cult? Like people from the bigger cult saying, oh yeah, that's a cult. And then that makes them feel better. Like they started their own faction again, which is actually really, in my opinion, people branching off because of I suspect, I believe, and I'm alleging that the church is still practicing and never gave up practicing polygamy, and that I will die on this hill. Okay. I mean, my mind's open, change it, whatever, bring receipts, because I've done my homework. There's a second anointing in it. I don't know if this is what they did. I don't know if there are others, that I don't know. I wasn't there, but the church did provide records to the FBI that were testified to by FBI analyst Nicole Heidemann in both trials in Idaho, that Chad and Lori, when they would swipe in using their temple recommend, which was worth killing people. And, she was like, I'm either going to, I told my bishop, I'm either going to commit murder or I don't know. I forget what she said, but she did both anyways. She reneged on it. But I've heard quite a few people in this clique say that it's not worth giving up your temple recommend. So there's a lot of value they find in this temple recommend, which I find highly sus, because a lot of people are even they're not even aware that there's the church where all the regular people go, you know, I guess the 95 percenters in Barry Cox's view. And then the 5 percenters in Barry's view would probably be the temple goers. And that's where they perform a blood oath of a vengeance. They do these endowments for dead people. So a lot of necromancy going on. I don't care. It's not sacred to me. Sorry. And then they and I think this is where James and Elena was born. And if you read Chad Daybell's Loinfire effing story, I know, get a barf bag, bring it, take you some Nausine. But it also is where James and Elena was actually born. But if you know about Mormonism and how you are assigned a new name, just regular people who don't commit murder, allegedly, I guess, how they go in and when they do a temple sealing with their spouse, they get new names, and the husband gets the wife's name, but the wife does not get the husband's name. And supposedly whenever they die, if he goes first, then when she dies, then he can call her name. And if he doesn't call her name, it hurts my brain. But this leads into something way bigger. And maybe it's not enough. It's way too late, I guess, to maybe say it tonight. Like, I feel like I'm pressed for time because I am. It's long. But so who's to say that James and Elena was not another assigned temple name to the couple? You know, like, hell, you're James, you're Elena. And so maybe Chad used James and Elena in his story, of course, to, you know, in case Tammy saw it, and to do it in plain sight. That's kind of their thing. They get off on that shit. You know, anyway, so that's just a theory, possibility. Then, I mean, I believe that is the crux of what pulled Lori and Chad together. I believe this is what's going on. I don't believe it was ever stopped. Maybe, you know, breaks or whatever, but the second anointing exalts a person. And it's the same language that Lori used with my Uncle Charles. She said that she was a goddess, that she was going to lead the 144,000 into the new millennium, or Zion, she would say sometimes. They interchange Zion, New Zion, New Jerusalem. Oh my God, I'm stuttering. I used to think that Independence, Missouri was like where the second coming of Christ was supposed to take place. That's what they believed. But I don't know. Who knows these days? Like, it's so like it changes depending on who's talking, you know, it just depends. But Lori did make a trip, her and Melanie Boudreaux, to Autumn on Diamond, which is a place in Independence, Missouri, where another one of the 7, I want to say, was Audrey Baratero a 7 gatherer? I don't remember. I'll have to ask Lauren's stalk team. I'm just kidding. But she was, I believe, Audrey Baratero, you know, she was a herbologist that was listed on her LinkedIn. Speaking of LinkedIn's, she has one. Just saying, she's legit. They're not. I'm just saying. But it's kind of that weird one. She's the one that said that Lori said that she was going to cut her up and have bleach and bags. And I'm just like, yeah, it's really cool to be able to form your alibi around stuff that's already come out publicly. Kind of like I feel like Melanie Gibb and David Warwick did. They just kind of molded it and then threw in some wow factors like the end of the world is July 22nd. I think that was just to confuse us, to make us stop asking questions, because you're like, what the fuck? You know, like zombies? Oh, you know, you stop asking questions. It's called shock doctrine, and it'll make you stop questioning things. Portals. That's been a conversation stopper. I mean, it's been funny as hell all these years, but it's still, Tom Harrison was teaching Chad Daybell, Julie Rowe, Tim Ballard. Who am I missing? How to maybe Jody Hildebrand. I don't know. They were On Eternal Core, which is Tom Harrison's podcast with Ken Krogh. He taught them how to remote view. There's another woman in Tim Ballard's clique. Her name is Janet Russin, and she was an alleged psychic who would use remote viewing when going with Tim on these alleged child rescues, to go rescue women who were sexually, sex trafficked in third world vulnerable countries. So that bothers me already. And so they went to Haiti allegedly, and Russell Ballard was like, they were like planning a media, I guess, I don't know. They were planning a media. It was staged, and they were, when Tim was going to come back with a little boy, Gardy Marty, who's still missing. He's actually from Utah, but he was allegedly kidnapped from his dad's orphanage or church. I'm sorry, the church. His dad was a bishop, but it's just a real weird. I would even say almost unbelievable story at this point. Sometimes I wonder if it was just made up, kind of like what's happening on the screen with this alleged couple. Anyways, but allegedly Tim Ballard claimed that Janet Russin was using her remote viewing skills that was his intel. Like that was his state of the art intel, that donors were allegedly giving him tens of millions of dollars, to rescue no children, because there's no receipts of this ever happening. So it seems to be like this big old hoax. Okay. And this is exactly who Donald Trump seated. I don't know what it's called. I don't have it on top of my head, but he appointed Tim Ballard as something to do with the sex trafficking, whatever. I don't know. I'll come back with more details on that, but it's not really what this is about. But I mean, I'm just saying all that because this all goes back to Tom Harrison. Tom Harrison is a very curious dude. He's the guy behind Visions of Glory. Those are his visions of glory, I guess. And they're really his alleged near-death experiences, which I'm kind of leaning more towards maybe Tom Harrison implanting these false memories, or I don't know. I'm still out on that one. I'm learning more about MK Ultra and how there was a transcript that came from a lawsuit that was filed a while back against Tim Ballard by one of these females that claimed that Tim Ballard is a trafficker. They were like the anti-traffickers. I'm sorry. Yeah, the anti-traffickers, meaning like Tim and Paul Hutchinson and these people who act like, or who portray and claim that they are going and rescuing women and children from these missions, these ops or whatever. But they said, quote, the anti-traffickers are the traffickers, unquote. And so that's pretty hefty. It's like, that tracks. So it's like they are just grifting. They're actors. That's what they're doing. They even say it, like they're acting and they're doing movies and Sound of Freedom 2 coming out. We got all kinds of movies. We got Jason Mao in the movie. We've got Chad Daybell was visiting with a producer who produced a movie called, it was based off of Rand. What's his last name? Rand Packer's book. And it was about the beans. Anyways, The Lion and the Lamb. And that's a book that Lori ordered when she was transferred from Idaho prison to await trial in Arizona for Charles and Brandon, and so she ordered 3 books, and one of them was A Lion and a Lamb from Rand Paul, from Chad Daybell. His publishing company is who published it. She ordered Visions of Glory because obviously she has to have a copy everywhere she damn goes, which is Tom Harrison. And then what's the other one? Does it even matter? I think it was like Deborah Harkins or something, and it was about witches. I'm just saying, flaunt it if you got it there, Lulu, Lauren, who I think is channeling her inner Lori. Okay, for reals. Like, it's scary. I'm not picking right now. That is fucking scary. Like, is it some kind of possession or something? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Don't want to know. Don't transfer it over here. That's why I don't look in the camera. Do you understand? But she stares in the camera like it's interesting, in my opinion. But all right, so back to that transcript that was fed through, that was on that lawsuit from that one of the women alleging sexual abuse, because Tim Ballard allegedly used the same line that Chad did and Julie has, which is, we were married before in a past life. And apparently that is a panty dropper. I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe a Mormon underwear dropper. Jesus jammy dropper. Anyway, so all right. I mean, how that is so weird. Okay, you don't hear, I think we were married before in a past life. I told my daughter, I was like, you ever hear that? Don't walk, run. Call me and I'll meet you wherever you're at. Don't fall for that shit. That's weird. Go, run. I ran part of the transcript that came from that lawsuit through my Chat GPT, just because when I read it this time here recently, it just sounded very MK Ultra-esque. It was like mother and father, freedom, which, I mean, Charlie Kirk, he had freedom on his shirt. I'm just saying, these things are kind of pinging in my head. And anyway, so I run it through my AI and I asked it, I was like, this sounds very reminiscent of MK Ultra technique. Tom Harrison is a therapist, so it's not a far stretch. He's over there, he's retired. He was a child sex abuse therapist, which all my flags, I have no more red flags to give. They're all up. Okay. Because why is this guy messing with children? This is with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who were dealing with the Bishop Glenn L. Pace memo that was buried, hidden, didn't come out until it was leaked to Sandra and Gerald Tanner back in the day, but it still has stayed suppressed. A lot of Mormons are told that it's called secret combinations, which is, to a Mormon, it's basically saying that's satanic ritual abuse. Okay, so it's the same thing as satanic panic, just kind of in Mormonese. I don't know. And it's very interesting because, Melanie Gibb has used this terminology. She said, oh, it's just a secret combination, and that they've got into something really dark, and I'm like, yeah, and you were right there conjuring with them, hooker. And nobody listens. And she's still out there influencing, everyone in and around her life, church, ward, same old. No accountability here either. Keep letting these people go unchecked and untethered. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a really bad shit show. And whatever. I don't know. You can only raise so many freaking concerns. So, all right, back to the whole thing with the web sleuths connection. The mention of 144,000 subs, I think I took the transcript and wrote it here, relates to Revelation and the chosen 144,000 connecting to the Lori and Chad Daybell case. That was something that Jay said, which is true. And my mom, I asked her about this party, the 144,000, because I want to say that they were going to invite them and have some big soiree in Vegas. And I want to say it didn't happen at all. But again, where is the plaque? And we want to see it up close because we don't trust you. Your subscribers deserve that much. Are you buying them? Are you fake? How fake are you? Is really, I guess, the question. Dismissal of the case, Lawrence against Christina, would set a dangerous precedent, allowing unrestricted stalking under the guise of free speech. Utah Code 70. Okay, I'm just going to kind of skip down to where I'm trying to get. Okay, it says, which I think I'm just repeating what you just said on that video, but Trisha Griffith's declaration was read by Jay, and then Trisha Griffith, manager of Web Sleuth, meaning she is no longer the owner. The LLC for Web Sleuths is now located in Texas and is under the name of David Mittelman, which is with T's, not D's, who is also the owner of Othram Labs. David Mittelman of Othram Labs owns Web Sleuths. The respondents attempt to weaponize. Okay, so it goes back to that. All right. Okay, hold on. Hold, please. I'm having to kind of navigate around here. I hope y'all are doing okay. I gotta scroll and scroll and scroll. See. Okay. Sorry about this, y'all. It's transitions for me. I really am not fast at this. I want to say, okay, here we go. October, okay. I'm just making sure I'm pulling up the right one. I think I called it Lauren Psyop. Maybe, let's see. Hold on. Sorry about that. I wish I had some background noise. Okay, so this is kind of what I started brainstorming, okay? I was like examining Lauren's public persona in the Mormon church. So it's not written, it's kind of like a rough draft. Could Lauren be projecting a false image by claiming to have left the church while also expressing her love for being a Mormon in her Mormon Stories podcast interview? She asserts that the culture hails from an integral, oh my gosh, I can't really see this shit. It's so small. Oh my gosh, I can't read. She asserts that the culture she hails from is an integral part of her identity. During Lauren's 9-hour live stream where she mentioned having a stalker, a commenter inquired whether Christina was an active member of the LDS Church. This is how I perceived it, okay? Lauren quickly responded in the affirmative. She said, "Oh, yes, very." Almost as if it were a slight against Christina, her perceived enemy, for being an active Mormon. Kind of like once Mormons, they call people who leave the church anti-Mormons. They think they're against the church. That's because they received the truth of the gospel and then turned away from it. So that's why they're going to go to outer darkness where all the cool kids hang out. And but the way I took Lauren saying this was more like a marking her, like, oh yeah, very demonizing her, like demonizing Christina for being active. But then yet if Lauren was portraying to be active, then she would be doing it to probably people on the outside. I wouldn't put that past her. I mean, I saw a text message that may be about me. I shared it with y'all earlier. And it's really, really, dude, I mean, girl, come on now. That's pretty lame. So, if Lauren truly loves being I'm going to go back and forth, Mormon, yet claiming to have distanced herself from the church, it suggests that she may be aware of the negative perception surrounding Mormons and their church. Many view the church as a problematic institution that has concealed instances of abuse and has a controversial history that has been hidden from listen to this, that has been hidden from public scrutiny. Sounds fitting here. They like to hide things from public scrutiny. Many view it. Oh, I already said that. This includes issues like Freemasonry, ongoing polygamous marriages, and the founder's multiple hidden wives, some of whom were underage. Additionally, the church's financial power, amassing nearly $1 trillion while claiming only 17 members worldwide, raises questions. Is Lauren's podcast, now I'm just telling you, this is a theory. Is Lauren's podcast a deliberate attempt to deflect attention, controlled opposition, From the egregious crimes committed by recent bad Mormons, it seems the church's public relations team is acutely aware of the headlines surrounding these horrific acts and how they shape public perception of the Mormon church. There appears to be a concerted effort to present a more Christian image, and this tracks to all the other things going on with the church. And all this weird shit, y'all. It's crazy. A more Christian image to appeal to a broader religious right, aiming to attract new members and fulfill a desire for a one world religion, or you could call it a theocratic society. So it makes me wonder if these were like experiments already ran in the past, to see if a theocratic society would, they go bigger and bigger in scale to see if it'll sustain itself, I don't know. That's just my first instinct. My first thoughts. Oh shit. What the heck? Hold on. Let me pull it back up. Damn. It got weird. Okay, so this is where it kind of, it gets more interesting here. There appears to be, I already said that. No, I'm going to start with that again. There appears to be a concerted effort to present a more Christian image to appeal to a broader religious right, aiming to attract new members and fulfill a desire for a one world religion or theocratic society, which aligns with the agendas of individuals like Tim Ballard, Julie Rowe, Hildebrandt Frankie, and Chad Daybell. President M. Russell Ballard has played a significant role in this aspect of the church's mission, influencing both Mormons and alleged criminals. I am saying that. That's my conjecture. And he did. Okay. And that was his whole job in the church, was to create new converts to the church, ad campaigns and things to attract people to become converts to the church. So that's just interesting that he happens to be the apostle that's in and around all these bad acts. He's like, I don't know if I really feel like he's related to Tim. I feel like they're related and they do wordplay with us all the time, like Tim does. He's like, oh, he's like a grandpa to me, but we're not related. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Okay, donkey. So whatever, for what it's worth. Okay, so I'm going on. Could East Idaho News reporter Nate Eaton, who is also Mormon, have been strategically placed by media network owners, Frank Bendersloot? Consider Julie Rowe's misleading nonprofit A Greater Tomorrow Relief Fund, which claimed to assist victims of soul trafficking. Okay. Try and track that. How many soul trafficking victims do we have today? Not saying it don't exist. I'm just saying that ain't real. You can't measure that. They can. They measure souls. Okay. Just throwing that out there. So, and it's interesting that Tim Ballard has Operation Underground Railroad, the Spear Fund. They have the Nazarene Fund, which is over there in the I country, with the I. That claim to be rescuing persecuted Christians, and it's Glenn Beck and him and David Barton. They're all TPUSA speakers. Interesting, right? They speak in December, except for Tim. So does Mike Lee. So does Andy Biggs, and all kinds of other weird people. All right, so getting back onto this, it says a dubious assertion at best. Furthermore, Chad Daybell's speech published exclusively by Hidden True Crime for their own channel stand in contrast to the content shared by other channels that aim to spread awareness about this controversial group. Meaning, all of us on the outside of Hidden True Crime, we've all we gathered it through the community. We picked up podcasts that we found, we share them, we don't strike people for them. Not Hidden True Crime. She got it from a source, of course, right? It can't just be I've scooped it off the internet and I'm claiming it, because that's not what she does at all. She don't claim anything. She's very, very greedy, in my opinion. Selfish. Just, I don't know. It's gross. Feels good to say it out loud. In Hidden True Crimes audio recording of Chad Daybell on the day he met Lori Vallow in St. George, Utah, he discusses replacing LDS terminology with more broadly Christian terms to attract a wider audience. And this will be a theme. Tim Ballard's book, originally titled The American Covenant, was tailored for an LDS audience originally until M. Russell Ballard removed LDS references in favor of Christian language. What is the ultimate goal here? Well, I have one: proselytize, and then number 2 is monetize. I will go ahead and throw traumatize in here too. I'm sorry to anybody's experience there. What if Lauren's Hidden True Crime was intentionally established or even incentivized? I have never thought of this. To serve as another authoritative source. Much like Nate Eaton, they seem to be bud, huh? I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm simply asking the goddamn question. I mean, so much so that he gave her the copy, the link for her to exploit, basically, Lori Hellis. Anyways, just throwing that in there. Let me know what you think. Who once worked for East Idaho News now he owns a portion of it alongside his boss or the owner of East Idaho News, which started in 2015 when Baby Dior, within a week of Baby Dior going missing, and Baby Dior has never been found. That's just, put a pin in that. I just find that really weird and sus, especially knowing where those stations were bought from, how they were bought from the church by Frank Vandersloot, whenever Adam Steed came out about his Boy Scouts of America story, right, Jay? If you're still here, I mean, that's what I was wanting to tie into. This goes way back. It goes back to Boy Scout. This, at least my research does. It's gross. Anyways, so was Lauren's channel intentionally established or incentivized to serve as another authoritative source, so they could control, like she does the interviews, Nate doesn't have to, not the ones that are outside of the. So basically, Nate or mate would corner the active Mormons of that area, that's a lot of people, or just people following the case that are Mormon, or just, people like me and you. But he would be able to control and whitewash and distance what Lori and Chad and, from what the church practices or claims to practice or whatever. It's never a cut and dry thing. It's a spectrum. But this made me think, because I was thinking about Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk and a lot of these controlled opposition type things where one may claim or look like it's squeakier than the next, but they're all douches. Like Candace Owens, she platformed Tim Ballard. I never trusted her from the beginning, and she just looks a little witchy to me. I don't know. Call me weird. So, I mean, could Lauren, we know the church likes to sponsor, like they've been contacting TikTok creators on, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, to whether you're Mormon or not. Like, can I interest you in a Book of Mormon? Like, they don't care. Represent, you get paid. People are going to do it. People probably do it. I don't know. I haven't checked into it. But could they be paying her? And that's why she may still be Mormon? Like, I don't know. I'm still like this is new to me. So, okay. So back to, to serve as another authoritative source, much like Nate Eaton, who works for East Idaho News and now even owns a portion of East Idaho News, along Frank Vandersloot, Idaho's wealthiest billionaire. Please put a pin in that. Where Daybell committed his crimes involving child murder. What if both East Idaho News and Hidden True Crime were designed to function as controlled opposition? This is not an unfamiliar concept, especially for those following the Charlie Kirk case, which Lauren has likened herself to. The discussions surrounding Candace Owens' role in this context raises further questions. When Owens was at PragerU, I just ran those sentences together. When she was at PragerU, where did that go? She platformed Tim Ballard, who was on the verge of facing serious allegations of fraud, misleading donors about his supposed efforts to rescue victims of sex trafficking. They claimed that the anti-traffickers are the traffickers, as stated in a past news story. Let me switch to the next page. Okay, I'm gonna try and hurry. Hold on. I hope that's not it. I thought I had more. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm proving Lauren's text to be right. She says I'm slow. You can bite me. Man, I hate whenever I kind of lose hold of what I'm trying to do here. So I guess what I'm saying is Othram Labs is, you can say, I would think that Trisha at Web Sleuths is compromised. Okay. When you are owned by someone who, like Othram Labs, who's involved in so many crimes, and there's kind of dubious. I haven't really looked into all these people, so I don't know. I care if she's Mormon. I do, because if she is Mormon, then she is misrepresenting it. If she's not Mormon, she may also be misrepresenting it. I don't want people to. I'm tired of her being I'm tired of her, grifting. Okay, it bothers me, and it does matter to me if CrimeCon is a Mormon-owned company. My family was murdered by Mormons? Okay, I have maybe a bias here, and so I'm not saying Othram Labs. Come on, grow up. Okay, I mean, that's all you got to do is not take it so personal, unless it bothers you, and maybe this isn't the place for you. I need people who are grown-ups and can look at this objectively and not demonize people for questioning things. It's okay. It's going to be okay. I promise. Anyways, yeah, I know. I'm tired. My throat hurts, and you're more than welcome here. I'm not trying to shut that person down. Whomever was saying, who cares if Lawrence, well, I mean, what do you want? What questions would you like me to ask, ma'am? None. I'm usually not this snarky, but damn, like, I don't understand your purpose for being here. Like, no, Tim Ballard. But okay, so I'm saying that Othram Labs is owned not by Trish. So, and I mean, I remember all this happening. I remember her starting to, how she said that she doesn't do any more annoying ads or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. And I appreciate the work that they claim to do. They've been kicking ass, solving a lot of cases. Okay. However, these people network. That's what the hell they do. So this is how this works. I don't know if you're new to the thing, like how this works, but this is how the elites work, and this is how they work in lockstep, and this is how they possibly lock away people who aren't guilty, and they're okay with that. Similar to what you're seeing on the screen. Okay, people who are okay with demonizing and criminalizing other people, weaponizing the legal system, and just, it doesn't matter, just need someone to go down. We need a fall guy. Okay, so that's how this works. Yeah, everyone does network. Everyone, but when this is like a secret society that you and I are not invited because we're not elite, we don't have the bloodlines, we don't have the credentials, we're not connected, we're not in a university, we're not I'm not in a fraternity, in a sorority, these are, you know, like Boy Scouts is kind of the entrance into that somewhat, you know, kind of conditioning and everything. Anyway, so this is kind of my understanding how they work tentatively, loosely. It is secret weirdness, and seems like people or kids like Tylee and JJ are victims of these secretive crimes, and they're not the only ones. There's a whole bunch of freaking victims here that no one is able to account for these kids and missing people that go missing every day. Okay. They're just like, oh, okay, we don't have, there's 20,000 children that disappeared. And you're like, what? That I don't even know what that means. That I don't know how to compute that. What does that look like? You know, because it just doesn't, it seems unreal, and it may, whatever, numbers are probably off, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, I study these people. That's what I do. I've done it for 6 years. I've sized up, you know, the quote unquote enemies. I don't look at them as my enemy. I'm just saying I've watched them, and I've, you know, been on one side, and then I'm like, oh my God, no, this is what's going on. Holy crap. This goes deeper. Holy crap. You know, Tom Harrison really is, according to the transcript that I fed to my chat GPT, just to kind of either confirm or deny, I don't know, but just lean one way or another to help me kind of figure out if what I was asking it was like, this really sounds like some kind of MK Ultra technique being used on Tim Ballard using ketamine treatments, which are good for people who are going through therapy. Okay. Yeah. No, he's not Mormon. He was Lutheran, I want to say. Yeah. But it's not just Mormon. That's so, you know, you can't get stuck on that idea either. It's like a brotherhood, or some of it. It's like different. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know. I haven't worked on that angle yet, you know. So there's just different ways to be plugged in, to be considered as, oh yeah, he's good, he's credible, name dropping, sending business. I mean, have you noticed how these podcasts just blow up? And they're like, I'm like, how do they get away with all that? And they say all these same YouTube-y, you know, buzzwords that I'm not allowed to say. Keeps me in the damn algorithm ditches over here. But why do they get to do it? And that's because I believe they are controlled opposition or sponsored by people who will spout their ideas and influence me and you without us being aware of it, you know? So this is, we live in a world of influence. That's what we are. You know, we are biased. We're influenced. We have a lot of, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm just trying to figure it out. Yeah, me and Trance. George Orwell. So Chad mentioned this, you know, and I'm still new in this area, but George Orwell, 1984, and Animal Farm, they hide in plain sight and use MK Ultra. Look at C19. C19. I'll have to like Google that whenever we get off here, but I mean, for real, like I don't have it pulled up, but the transcript or whatever that, so it was Tom Harrison who, that's what he does. Like, he's a child sex therapist, but he also had patients allegedly that, you know, he was, that claim, according to Lauren now, that, you know, kind of blurred the lines, I guess you could say. Nothing sexual, or, you know, I don't think anything like that I know of. But it's more like, one woman, I want to say, said that she was taken there allegedly by Tom, or taken to the temple allegedly by Tom Harrison, or with Tom Harrison, and was sealed to him, or I don't really, don't quote me on that, but it's something along those lines. And it was on Mormon Stories podcast with Megan, Mindy, and Lauren, and it was about Tom Harrison and Tim and Jody and Chad and Lori, Kool-Aid in the gang. And but like reading that transcript and how Tim Ballard was saying, you know, well, actually, Tom Harrison was telling Tim Ballard in a very calculated and instruct, like that was the design, was to say, okay, you're going to be a senator, then you're going to be president, and then you're going to be prophet, the prophet of your church, which I thought was interesting because it's their church. And no, this is so many rabbit holes. It's unfreaking real. It's disgusting. I hate it. But I mean, that's how I do this. This is how I work. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't compare it to Megan. Not in Trisha's eyes. I'm like, good Lord, never mind. I'm good. I don't want to be, don't freaking fangirl or whatever me. Like, I just want real people, and that's how I'm gonna treat you. So weird. Don't do it. But I'm gonna look this up, Gateshead Angel. Appreciate that. But I'm just saying, if Tom Harrison is actually doing this or did this to Tim Ballard to kind of create this kind of Manchurian candidate to become the future prophet and president of the United States. I mean, if Chad and Julie were meeting with Tom Harrison, this therapist, this sus therapist, and he was teaching them how to remote view, which they call portaling. Okay, then is it a stretch to say that maybe they were also being treated or experimented on with the kind of same techniques that were that I have the receipt for of being done to Tim Ballard? Did this happen to to Chad? I'm sorry, too many fucking names to keep up with. Does this happen to Chad and Julie too with Tom? And so you start to see like, oh shit. Okay. So if Tim Ballard's up to no good, Chad and Lori murdered a bunch of people in a little amount of time. We're talking some crazy shit, still talking some crazy shit. They have these phrases, these dog whistles, buzzword. I don't know. It's like they're able to talk to one another this way, which is, of course, secret society. You got Glenn Beck, who's all involved. He wears a lot of skull and bone things. I'm learning a lot about these things. And I know people are like, oh my God. Okay, what do you do? What does a person do when they can't communicate verbally because of hearing problems? They do sign language. What did we do before we had a language? Like we didn't always have one. Anyways, I don't know. So we communicate. A lot of our communication is with body language, So that makes sense to me. And if they're saying that it's done in plain sight, but nobody ever talks about it, or to a degree, to a sense, certain level, but they don't actually. I just want to include it as part of my analysis of somebody or some situation that I am analyzing. Like, I want to do that and just factor that in, not buy it, at face value all by itself. Like, oh yeah, he's guilty. No, but just like, these kind of things just look really sus. Okay. I don't like to put anything off the table. So call me a conspiracy theorist. Call me oh my gosh, I just blanked. I'm such a dork and I'm tired. Or a coincidence theorist. Okay. There's two things can be true. I'm just saying, I feel like a lot of the people, especially in these kind of spaces, this true crime community, I'm not saying come in, bombard anything anywhere with just nothing but speculation or anything like that. That's harmful. Or theories, but not all conspiracy theories are conspiracies. They're theories that they're conspiracy theories that end up being true. I've seen it. There's a lot of people that owe conspiracy theorists some damn apologies for being called a damn conspiracy theorist about JFK, MLK, all these things that happened that turned out to be true. It's like, CIA coined the term conspiracy theorist as a way to shame and make people sound crazy. Not only that, but to label them, I think. Not only that, they also did that with the satanic panic. They called it satanic panic. And it's to stop us from thinking. It's to be like, oh, nope, they're crazy. I'm going to go over here, And so we don't even dig there. And so I think it's short-sighted for us to wall off an entire area of possibilities. Okay. Yes, some do. Some, I'm right there with you. Some conspiracies are crazy and deserve to be shamed. Yeah. All day, every day. But I mean, there's, I just think they're worth looking into. And I mean, again, it just depends on what you believe a conspiracy theory is. Some people are just like, whoa, this is some weird shit. And it is. It's weird shit. The kids did not live. Charles did not live. Tammy did not live. Joe, not living. They were murdered in the most egregious and heinous ways known. Okay. We don't even know. I'm sorry. We don't even know where the rest of Tylee is. And it bothers me. It bothers me because she deserves for her body to be together. Like, it bothers me bad. JJ was all together. Whenever they showed that on the projector screen or whatever in the trial, and so I can see JJ. I mean, he resembles himself, right? But when they say Tylee here, she's right here, and they're pointing at it with a red laser thing, and I'm like, where? Thinking like I don't see her. She was there. It just was a hole in the ground, and I'm just like, it looks like white paper, just kind of. I didn't. It just you can't identify. You can't even see her. In a decomposed state, like it's just there's smithereens, and it bothers me. It bothers me. What? I was reading, but okay, whatever. Anyways, you come over here just to do their bidding for them. Do you understand? I don't know. They probably, I wouldn't doubt it. And it's kind of par for the course with this, with people like that. I've heard that, but I don't know that for sure. Yeah, it is. I mean, but it's not as painful as what, they went through, but I don't know. It bothers me. So I want to know more. I want to know more because there's a big cloud of questions. I just have a lot of questions around the time of Tylee, leading up to it, in and around it. Like I just don't quite understand it. I didn't have like a aha moment, like, oh, okay, that's what happened. That's more filled in for JJ, but not so much. Yeah, they obviously are for victims, right? But here we are. They're not over in their chat bitching or whatever. I don't even know. Anyways, I ain't got time. But yeah, I'm just gonna head out on that note. I'm not Lauren. I'm not gonna do a 9-hour live. So these are tiring. But I've enjoyed your company here tonight. Y'all just keep doing the the good fight, and people will eventually see, and that's okay. I forgive them. And I hope you forgive me for any short-sightedness on my part. I'm tired of playing other people's expectations. I really am. I wish people, when they say that I'm here for the victim's family, I don't think so. I think that's a good question to ask. And I mean, I'm not saying that to be like, oh, I'm just saying a lot of people don't. They say something, but they don't actually follow through with those actions. And you can tell by these, their actions. So that's how I guide and go through my life. I don't hate anybody. But I'm allowed to be upset. I'm allowed to be angry. I'm allowed to have feelings, and I'm allowed to have a fucking opinion. Okay. So anyways, while they're still not, illegal to have, I'm just saying we're right here on some dangerous territory. Not because of these two. I'm just saying, I hope they don't liken themselves to, I'm just talking about in the world. Anyways, thank y'all so much. And thank y'all for all the super chats. I appreciate you. I've never had, still, there's a lot of people in here, and I've never in my life, there's trials and sentencing days and never, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you for being here and just hanging out. And if you have any questions or even, I'll take criticism. I like it. Make it constructive. It's all about constructive. Or if you just want to lash out, I'll take it too. Anyways, justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Love always wins. And you guys are proof. Thank you. Bye.
Brutus don't like it, y'all. He's barking. But this was the video that was struck down, and I just felt like that Krisha's voice needed to be heard. She said that she felt visible and that she was able to breathe, and then it was immediately hidden. So I just felt like this needed to be out, and I will see y'all tomorrow night, probably. Good night.